He was laughed at, considered a weakling with useless skills, but when he defeated the boss in the dungeon, everything changed. Now he can create magic and skills, paying for it with his own levels. He grows and spends, loses and becomes stronger. Will the loser be able to surpass those who humiliated him? Let's find out. The story begins with Loa, the protagonist, triumphantly holding his sword and realizing his victory. In the village of Foil, he approached the door and opened it to enter the guild. As he entered the building, he called on everyone present to pay attention to his amazing news. He had fought slimes today and was able to defeat 2. Everyone looked at him in confusion, but soon, laughter was heard. The knight advised Loa not to mention the wound he said a slime gave him. The girl laughed and noted that this was an F-rank dungeon, where all the newbies from the village fought. The protagonist countered that they should not underestimate slimes. It bites if they are aggressive. The girl chuckled. Slimes bite? Her companion, still laughing, added that he did not know about it because he kills monsters instantly. Loa truly deserves the nickname Hopeless. The system window that appeared said, Loa Foil, 19 years old, level 10, with HP 1 out of 100, MP 116 out of 116, has an attack power of 20 and a defense of 16. Then he approached the merchant and said that they could continue to laugh. Holding 2 magic stones in his hands, he said that he would now sell these 2 stones and get 100,000 for it, right? The guildmaster accepted the stones, but regretfully said that their rarity did not justify their price. Only 3 coins. The protagonist, perplexed and angry, slammed his fist on the counter and said that he had to give him more. He realized that he would be left without food again. For the past 24 hours, he had eaten only grass and insects, but the guildmaster only repeated that this was the market price. Frustrated, Loa knelt down and said that today he would have to make do with meager food again. The guildmaster reminded him that his status was level 25, and now it was 10. He asks if the protagonist wasted his levels. Loa admitted that he did. In order to effectively fight slimes, he had to create a new sword to replace the old one. Creating items that match the level is an extremely rare skill. The protagonist pulled a level 15 copper sword from its sheath. The guildmaster explained that creating items only seemed convenient at first glance. Loa turns to him in rage and shouts that it really is. The guildmaster explained that Loa will not be able to create an infinite number of items of the same level, constantly using it to create new ones. This means that he will not be able to become a merchant. The more items he creates, the less his level and strength, and he will not even be accepted into the party. The protagonist grabbed his head and realized that he cannot earn money or experience. Every time he gains a level, he immediately uses it. How can he face his parents? And with a slime. The guildmaster appreciated his patience, but suddenly a strong wind rose in the building. The protagonist and the guildmaster looked at the door in confusion, trying to protect themselves from the wind. They covered their faces with their hands. The guildmaster was surprised. What is this? The wind? The protagonist replied that it was magic, so it was him again. At that moment, Carter entered the room and asked, Is Loa still trying to earn pennies today? The protagonist looked at him angrily and whispered, Kaire. Everyone ran up to Carter in confusion and shouted that it was dangerous, and they told him not to use magic inside the building. He replied that it was not that important. The only one who brings goods to this village is his father, and he did not think that he would sell potions to those he did not like. The adventurer was indignant. What kind of narcissistic idiot is this? Then he explained that he just came to show poor Loa what magic is. He wants to use the same magic as him, right? But with such useless skills, he can't. And what does he get for wasting levels anyway? A pathetic copper sword? For Carter, it's trash. Their store has hundreds of such items every day. The protagonist, passing by Carter, confidently stated that he didn't consider his skill to be something unpleasant. This left Carter perplexed. MC compared his experience to how, as a child, when you buy something for little money, it seems especially meaningful. He was sure that Carter had never experienced such a feeling, even when he bought something truly valuable. The protagonist headed for the exit of the building, but Carter shouted after him that he should not try to seem stronger than he really is. However, at that moment, the guildmaster reminded him that he forgot his 3 coins. The protagonist quickly turned around and, holding out his hands, ran towards the merchant. With a bag of coins in his hands, he happily walked out of the building, declaring that this money could be the basis for new purchases. Carter was furious, not hiding his displeasure. Walking through the tunnel, the protagonist, holding a sword in his hands, thought about how, despite all the talk about him, he is the only one who can do anything with a skill like his. Every adventurer becomes stronger by gaining levels. However, equally important are skill points, which are earned by leveling up and can be used to learn new skills and magic. However, the protagonist has a rather specific item creation skill, due to which he cannot gain skill points even if he levels up. This is because his level is easily reduced by his skill. Therefore, no matter how much he levels up, he will not be able to learn new skills and magic. This is why he works so hard to hone his swordsmanship. In the meantime, he defeated all the licked in the cave. He joyfully exclaimed as he noticed that his level had finally started to recover, and his health had increased. Level 10, HP 198 out of 200, MP 250 out of 250, attack power 60, defense 45. Standing up and heading towards the exit, he noted that these were all the enemies he had been able to defeat today. However, there was a new floor ahead of him. This was no longer just a wound. If he was not skilled enough, he could die. He would be able to defeat the monster, but it would cost him several skills that would become part of him. And all because of this annoying skill. Suddenly, a barrier appeared in front of him. He realized that this meant that the dungeon boss was coming. Reaching out his hand towards the barrier, he realized that once he entered, he would not be able to return until he defeated the boss. He had no chance of winning, especially considering his living situation, which was not getting any better. Entering the barrier, he said that even if he died here, he didn't care. Starting to fight the boss, he realized that he definitely wouldn't leave now. In front of him in the dungeon stood a skeleton swordsman, recommended level 50, rank F. The protagonist thought that the recommended level was not that high, and prepared to attack. It shouldn't be impossible for him. He attacked the boss, but the boss defended itself and threw the protagonist back with its sword. MC realized that this monster was really different from the others in this area, but even for him, this was a fight that he could endure. This victory would change his life. Fiercely starting to fight the boss, he said that he spent 15 levels on this to get a sword with such a blade. He can't lose. The protagonist struck the boss, and it flew into 2 pieces. The protagonist was shocked by his victory. He fell to his knees and wondered if he really won. Then, gathering all his joy, he raised his fist and exclaimed, "He did it! He defeated the dungeon boss." At that moment, something strange happened. The protagonist, looking at his hands, could not understand what it was. His level increased from 49 to 50. The skeleton swordsman was defeated, and the item creation skill turned into magic creation. The protagonist, stunned, said, "A new skill? Magic creation?" The next day, he came to the guild and went to the merchant. The guildmaster asked what he wanted this time. The protagonist threw a bag of magic stones on the table and asked to cash it in. The guildmaster, surprised by the number of stones, asked where he got it from. It was more than usual. The protagonist looked at him happily and said that he would have a great dinner tonight. After some time, he came to the inn, where they brought him tea, meat, and soup. He cried with pleasure, enjoying the taste of not hard bread, not too thin soup, and dried meat. This tavern is just heaven. The customers noticed his emotions and asked what was wrong with him. The guy noticed that he was so happy about the cheap lunch. Poor guy. Then the protagonist remembered that last night he got a new skill. He managed to try it back in the dungeon. It was a rare skill indeed, and the battle was incredibly difficult. At that moment, Carter came up to him and, taking a piece of meat, said that he finally got to the tavern. He has a lot of free time today, doesn't he? MC looked at him with fury and shouted that this is his dried meat. Then he realized that he should ignore him, and Carter has the right to his actions if he is not a customer in his store. Carter said that he had heard from the workers for a long time that Loa had sold a large number of magic stones. The protagonist replied that it was true, and that he had to defeat many monsters to do so. Carter grabbed his hand sharply and shouted that he thought so. He asked his father if he had heard about it. After all, Loa was the thief who had stolen the gems from their store. MC was confused. A thief? His father was furious and said, "How dare he? Scoundrel, this is a serious crime." The protagonist was confused and asked what they were talking about. He did not understand what was going on. But father shouted that he shouldn't pretend to be a fool. All the magic stones from their store had disappeared. He pointed his finger at Loa and said that he had stolen and sold them. MC objected. This was some kind of mistake. Carter asked him if there was another option. How could such a weak person find so many gems? After all, everyone knows that he has money problems, so he did it. The protagonist was indignant that this is nonsense, and he is not going to participate in this. Then Carter used magic, a gust of wind, and all the food blew off the protagonist's table. He said that he does not advise dragging out the conversation. The protagonist noted that this is the magic of the 5th level of consumption. Then Carter grabbed him by the t-shirt and told him to confess in a good way. Loa said that he was not involved in this. Then Carter replied that he should not worry so much. He knows this very well, but if he is a good guy and confesses, then he will compensate him for the damage. Carter asked the protagonist to add to what he said that he did not have enough money. He said that no one would believe him without proof anyway. So he was going to say something important now. Then Carter whispered that he was the one who stole the precious stones from their store. After that, he told his father that they needed to take Loa to the guards. The father agreed with him, but at that moment, the protagonist pulled his hand away and said that he hurt him well. If he confessed that he was a thief, he would receive a reward. Carter furiously shouted why he was smiling like that, because he had not yet confessed to stealing. Then the protagonist used magic and said that he was the only one who had not lied. Those stones were his. Carter stood in bewilderment and asked what kind of magic was this? What nonsense? Where did he get magic from, and why was he using D-rank magic and a spell? A fire arrow. Everyone was amazed, unable to hide their surprise. The guildmaster who ran in witnessed the protagonist using magic. Creating magic skills, he happily immersed himself in researching this amazing skill, lingering in the dungeon after defeating the skeleton boss. Many interesting options regarding magic appeared in his status window. He found that he could use a variety of magic abilities, such as Thunder Throw and Water Cannon. However, to activate it, it required 50 levels and 250 MP. The protagonist realized that acquiring magic involved trading levels, just like crafting items. He was excited about this opportunity, as he could now use magic in battle, something that was previously unavailable to him. In order to gain experience and regain his lost levels, he began killing slimes, gaining experience for each monster he killed. Now that he could easily destroy enemies with magic, the process of gaining experience became much easier. After completing his slime extermination mission, he sat down on a rock to calm down and think about his next steps. He needed to carefully choose which magic would be the most effective in his arsenal. He began to study the available options in the system window, considering the advantages and disadvantages. Perhaps he should choose Great Fireball, a super powerful spell of fire mages that costs 250 MP and can only be used once. However, considering that he only had 260 MP left, it was obvious that such a choice would be unwise. The system window displayed information about his current state: level 50, HP 210 out of 210, MP 260 out of 260, attack 60, defense 45. He also noticed that there were many magic abilities that required a small amount of MP, and decided to use them all, but he would have to be patient to do so. Finally, he made a choice and clicked on Fire Lance. This spell cost 40 mana points and has a base damage of 1200, as well as a fire attribute. It requires 25 levels to activate. He considered whether to use it right now and decided to focus on the remaining magic abilities that only cost 1 level. He created Luminescence, Ignition, and Drinking Water, continuing to explore the world of magic and its possibilities. Now he wanted to test his magic on weaker monsters, but he thought it was time for a more difficult test. Conveniently, a kobold appeared with a recommended level of 32 and an E rank. The protagonist looked at his reduced stats and noticed the monster was rapidly approaching him, with its long claws extended in front of it. He screamed for it to stop. He began the fight, knowing that he was ready for this, but he was not sure if his psyche could handle the stress. He then closed his eyes, extended his hand forward, and asked, "Is this how it should be done?" Then he released a fiery spear, which pierced the kobold's chest and came out the other side. The protagonist stood in disbelief, watching the kobold fall. He exclaimed happily, realizing how powerful magic was. With one shot, he killed the recommended level 32 monster. This proved that as long as a powerful spell hits, it is possible to defeat an enemy even if the levels are very different. Soon, a system window appeared, saying that he had gained experience by defeating a strong monster, and his level had increased from 1 to 11. The protagonist was very happy, and thought that the difference between their levels had also contributed to the experience. He had gained 10 levels in just a second, whereas it usually took about a week. Clenching his fist, he said, "This is what it means to become stronger." He decided to use this creation of magic to reach new heights in magic, and so he stood in front of Carter, using his magic. Carter, confused, apologized and begged him to stop using magic. He then shouted that he knew the protagonist had not stolen anything, and apologized for his accusations. The protagonist calmed down and explained that he did not want to make a fuss in such a place. He only asked Carter to tell everyone what rumor he had spread about him. Carter, realizing his mistake, asked, "Will he forgive him if I tell him?" He then accused the guild member of stealing the stones and asked him not to tell anyone about it. The guildmaster, confused, replied that it was not him, as he always took his job seriously. Carter asked those present not to believe the merchant's words, as both Loa and he knew that he did it. Turning around, he asked, "Is that right?" The protagonist realized that everything he did was just a provocation and deception. At this point, the guildmaster claimed that he did not commit this crime. Carter, in turn, insisted on his guilt. He assumed that the guildmaster wanted to defame his name and used magic to attack with wind bullets. However, the protagonist blocked his attack, stating that he wanted Carter to tell what happened himself, but it seemed that this would not happen. Addressing everyone present, the protagonist expressed his hope that they would watch his next spell, Life Magic, which records and plays back events. This magic said that Carter would turn in the thief himself and receive a reward for it. He is currently in a difficult financial situation and needs additional funds to pay his bills. Bertie, one of the group, said that he did not care what excuses Carter gave. Without proof, he would not believe him. However, he offered Carter to steal magic stones from his father's shop. Carter was confused and afraid, claiming that this was not true. His father began to beat his son and shout that he was a scoundrel, to which Carter shouted back that he was not. The protagonist noticed that Carter's spine was at a 90-degree angle. The guildmaster thanked MC for his magic and said that it really does wonders. All the people began to thank him, saying that it was amazing and that he was a real hero who did a good job. The protagonist realized how much they hated him, but now they will no longer laugh at him, thinking that he can't do anything. The guildmaster praised him and patted him on the head. The next day, when he entered the guild, several teams surrounded him, inviting him to join them. Some said that he could be their strong ally. Others offered to join them. The sisters would take care of him. The third said that he was his fan, and if he agreed to be with him, they would become one team. However, the protagonist interrupted him, saying that he was sorry, but now he wanted to be alone. One of the group members ran, breaking through the wall, and said that he would work on his muscles and come back. The protagonist thought that 5 groups had tried to recruit him just today, and he decided that the demand for mages was really high. If he formed a team with Bertie, for example, the experience would be divided equally between the team members, which was inefficient due to the specificity of his skill. So he would have to go alone, gain experience, and become stronger by practicing his magic better. He walked towards the merchant, scratching his head and thinking that the most important thing was no more introductions. The guildmaster greeted him and said that he had been waiting for him. He then said that he knew it was early, but he needed the protagonist's guild card. Loa took out his card, placed it on the table, and asked why so suddenly. The guildmaster said that he had news for him, and congratulated him on his promotion from F rank to E rank. MC was confused and asked why he was being promoted. The guildmaster replied that he probably forgot how it worked. An adventurer's rank is determined by their contribution to the guild and their personal abilities, and yesterday's incident proved that he met the requirements for E rank. The guildmaster then handed him a new guild card that had changed from iron to bronze. The protagonist picked it up and looked at it carefully. The worker asked what was wrong. He happily replied that he was a little stunned. He was the only one who had reached E rank in such a long time. The guildmaster said that he would miss the past MC. The adventurer asked if this meant that they would no longer see him return home after being bitten by a slime. The protagonist stood there looking at the card, unable to believe that he had reached E rank. Today, he would hunt demons since he was now an E rank adventurer. The protagonist walked through the cave and heard someone shouting that Sonia should be in the vanguard. He was puzzled and turned around, thinking it was Bertie's group fighting monsters. The adventurer reminded that Sonia should pull herself together and do her job. She responded well, apologizing and promising to do her best. Then the protagonist peeked around the corner and saw Sonia being called disgusting. Bertie, did she know that? The protagonist thought that a tank is a defense that holds the enemy's attacks on itself. This girl looks like a person from the rear guard, always trying to become a target for the enemy. He saw her jump under the attack of the monsters. Why is she being criticized so much? It is not easy to be in a team, but he thought that it is none of his business. Then she turned her back to the monster, and everyone furiously asked her what she was doing. There was another one behind her. They shouted at her, "Sonia, watch out!" Their defense is failing from both flanks. The protagonist used magic on the monster. Sonia was confused and asked, "Magic?" It was just in time, a little more and everything would have ended sadly. She answered that it was not her. Sonia did not hear this and thanked her. It was timely. The adventurer answered that it was nonsense, but she can thank her more for saving. Sonia asked, "Did she hit it so quickly?" Her teammate confirmed it. The protagonist was walking through the cave. He thought that it seemed like they did not see him and does not want to get into trouble. All adventurers know the risks. Someone can steal the reward. Few people help each other outside the team. If he did nothing, then she would have simply been cut. He did not want to see this. Then he looked at his mana state and said that now there was less of it. The acquired skill of creating magic allows you to use the creation of items, so he already has 2 unique skills, and he must use both of them. He was holding a mana recovery potion. The required level was 10. The effect restored 300 mana. Now he spent 20 levels. Before it required 50, now it was 30 less. Smiling, he decided that this was good. That was enough for now. Now he had to use the remaining levels to create new magic. A system window appeared in front of him, and he clicked on the small item box, mana consumption 0. The required level was 25. Store items in another space. Can store up to 100 items of 5 different types each. A small item box was created. Mana recovery, 2 pieces. The protagonist said that this was very convenient, since he could easily increase his maximum mana by consuming levels. This was his lifeline. He would continue to fight, gaining levels to get more potions. Day 1, 12 mana recovery potions, 44 in total. Day 2, 20 mana recovery potions, 64 in total. Day 3, 30 mana recovery potions, 94 in total. Day 4, item box and medicine for mana restoration, 100 pieces. The protagonist was happy. He picked up the mana potion in his hand and said that this was the 100th. Now he didn't have to worry about mana. He started going down the stairs and thought that the bottom level of the E-rank dungeon was ahead. He decided to see what kind of boss it was. Then he saw someone fighting there. The Frog King, recommended level 120, D rank. The protagonist was shocked by what he saw, because it was huge, and he wondered if this was the main monster here. He saw Sonia trying to fight it. Nothing worked, she only blocked the attacks. MC thought it was strange. Why was she fighting alone? Where are all the team members? As a tank, she can't win. This girl Sonia, she's going to die. The protagonist took the sword in his hand, wanted to help, but then thought, no, this is what adventurers do. He's sure she knows what she's doing. She's fighting for her life. He's the same. He always thought there was no point in having someone around, so he's always alone. He turned around and started walking away, climbing the stairs, thought, he's sure she's the same. She doesn't want someone else's help to stop her from getting stronger, so she doesn't need help. The truth is, he would like someone to help him. He was just ashamed of these thoughts. He was trying his best to prove to himself that he wasn't a weakling. Should he offer his help? Was it his business? Who cares? Maybe he should tell him everything after saving him. He used magic and attacked the boss. He stood in front of Sonia and said that it looked like this boss couldn't be killed with one hit. Sonia was shocked and asked, was it him? To which he replied, adventurer, who was passing by. And he will take on this boss himself. Recommended level 120. The protagonist's current level is 40. The protagonist understood that the difference in levels between him and the boss was too great. He glanced at Sonia, who could not move. Now that he was here, he had to deal with the boss on his own. The boss attacked him, but Loa managed to dodge, and the attack destroyed part of the floor. The protagonist realized that such a blow could kill him. But what if he hit it with magic? The boss attacked again, and the protagonist, not expecting this, retreated. He asked to wait, realizing that the fire spear needed 4 seconds to activate, and he could not use it that quickly. Then Sonia told him that he should attack the stomach, since this is the royal frog's weak point. The protagonist thanked her for the advice, but noted that it would be difficult to hit the stomach with magic. If magic doesn't work, he can always use his potions. Sonia looked at him in confusion and asked, a mana recovery potion? Then the boss attacked again and the protagonist dropped the potion. He took out 2 more potions and said that there was more. Sonia warned him about the danger and asked him to be careful. The protagonist assured her that everything was fine and that he knew what he was doing. He threw 1 potion right in the boss's face. Then he took out another potion and threw it in the frog's eye. The frog closed its eye and stood on its hind legs. The protagonist started running, counting down, 3, 2, 1, 0. He slid across the floor right under the frog and used a fire spear, hitting its belly, and defeated the boss. Sonia was confused. Is this magic? How then? The protagonist then said that he did not try to use potions, but scattered it to reduce friction and increase sliding. He then turned around and said, it's not easy being cool. Sonia thanked him, noticing the fragments in his back, to which the main character said, it happens. Gained experience for defeating the boss, level increased from 40 to 70. Foil Conqueror of the Dungeon, HP effect plus 100. The protagonist looked at his stats and skills and noted that his level went up by 30 at once. He also received an achievement for defeating the boss. He then turned to Sonia, who was lying exhausted on the floor. He shouted, Sonia! Then he picked her up and thought that she probably suffered too much protecting him from the monsters. The protagonist took a health recovery potion in his hand, used level 10, and asked if she could drink it. She replied that she could not take the potion because it was too expensive. The protagonist objected. She should drink it. It cost him nothing. She drank the potion and noticed that she felt better. Then she said that she didn't know how to thank him for saving her life twice. The protagonist was surprised. Twice? Sonia explained that when she saw his magic, she realized that it was he who saved her from the goblins earlier, right? The protagonist scratched his head and said confusedly, yes, there was no need to thank him for that. Sonia shouted that it was true. She really appreciated it. He then introduced himself and explained that he heard her name from her comrades. He wanted to ask her where they were. She said that they ran away when the battle began and left her to die. The protagonist asked, did they leave her to die? She then confirmed it. She was a tank and went into battle first, but when they saw who the battle was against, they realized that they could not win. They just left. The protagonist was furious and said that they left her because they knew she would die. Why did she go with them? Sonia answered that she had a unique skill, impregnable, and showed a shield. This allows her to use offensive skills, so the only way for her to survive was to join the team and endure bullying. If he had not come, she would have died. MC thought that Sonia had the same unfortunate abilities as him. She was always looked down upon and she was worse than him because she couldn't even fight. Sonia asked if something was wrong. Lois suggested that she return to the village because her team was probably eating dinner. He couldn't let this go on. He apologized again and asked if he could help out a little more. In the village, the team members gathered in the guild and discussed the events that happened in the cave. One of them noted that they had left the dungeon in a hurry after hearing about the D-rank monster that lived there. He was shocked to learn how dangerous the monster was. Another team member, feeling sorry for Sonia, said that she was glad they were back. She noted that one should always be prepared for such challenges, because that was the price one had to pay for adventures. At that moment, Sonia and the protagonist entered the room. They were confused and exclaimed loudly, "Sonia? How is she still alive?" However, another member of the team slapped him in the face and screamed, "Idiot." Then she ran up to Sonia, rubbed her eyes and shedding tears said, "Sonia, thank God, she's okay." She went to hug her and said they were so worried because she went there all alone. She tried to stop her. Sonia was in complete shock and asked, "What?" The protagonist folded his arms and noted that adventurers are concerned about public opinion. If the group's reputation falls, it becomes harder to attract strong people. If someone needs to be punished, there is no better way than to lower their reputation. He loudly declared that he seemed to have heard correctly. They themselves left Sonia in danger, avoiding the battle with the royal frog. She would have been dead if he had not saved her. He added that perhaps they would do the same next time. He was told that he was speaking too loudly. The protagonist apologized, but continued to claim that he was telling the truth. One of the party members said that this was complete nonsense and that he had no proof. The protagonist took out a stone and said that it was proof that he had killed the royal frog. They couldn't have gotten such a stone without defeating the monster, and if they hadn't escaped, they would have had one too. He was told that with item creation, he could create as many things as he wanted, and he had already exchanged the magic stone for money. The reason Sonia was alone was because she liked to act on her own. The protagonist said that he would let the audience decide for themselves who to believe. He asked to look at Sonia to see who was lying. The people in the guild started talking among themselves, wondering if they really left her there, and it was terrible. The protagonist continued. He was already at the bottom, so he didn't care about his reputation, and he didn't know what would happen to them. Vain fools. At that moment, one of the team members stood up and ran at the protagonist with his fists, showering him with insults. However, the protagonist hit him faster and knocked him to the ground, starting to throw punches. He asked how long he thought he had been fighting against people like him. He would not be able to defeat him in a no-holds-barred fight. Another team member said that it was time to finish him off. At that moment, the guildmaster lost his temper and shouted that this was enough and for them to calm down. He asked them to go outside, threatening that if they continued like this, he would take away their guild cards and then everyone would look at them. One of the team members said that the soft-hearted guildmaster lost his temper. The protagonist noted that there had been a similar incident in the cafeteria the other day. At that moment, Sonia took the protagonist's hand and said, "Let's go. Everything is fine." She took him outside and the protagonist looked at her in surprise and asked, "Sonia?" She replied that they had gone too far, but she felt much better and thanked him for saving her. The protagonist scratched his head and said, "Well then, he should have accepted a fight he was not prepared for." They went into the dining room and Sonia bought some food. Spaghetti and a huge piece of meat appeared on the table. She said that he could eat without paying and asked him not to worry. The protagonist was perplexed that the meat was not overcooked but grilled to perfection and he could eat it. She emphasized that this was not gratitude, but only a small part of what she could do for him. The protagonist picked up a piece of meat and said that since it was possible, he would eat it. He hit his head on the table with pleasure and exclaimed that there was so much meat here. Sonia smiled and said that she was glad he was happy. The protagonist admitted that he had never eaten anything so delicious before. He said that he had only started learning magic a few days ago, and that before that, he had always been laughed at. He had saved Sonia's life because he was alone and had tried to escape at some point. He knew that he did not deserve such gratitude and said that he would pay her. He had cashed in the magic stone, so he had the money. Sonia was confused, but then said that he had not given up on her and had saved her despite the difference in strength. This was a fact. She wanted to do more than just thank him. She then suggested forming a group. MC was surprised. With him in a group? Sonia, smiling, replied that she used to be a noblewoman, but recently decided to take up adventuring in order to survive. She had gone from a beginner to an experienced adventurer, and she felt that they were kindred spirits in that regard. The protagonist agreed that this was true, especially after he had experienced firsthand how difficult it was to fight alone. A shielder like Sonia can balance well between the vanguard and the rearguard. He suggested joining forces, and Sonia happily agreed. They started drinking. and she added that she was now looking forward to working with him. The next morning, Sonia came to his room and woke him up. She said that it was already noon and it was time to get up. The protagonist opened his eyes slightly, and she asked if he should be spanked. Taking the shield in her hands, she hit the bed, and the MC jumped up in shock. She said good morning. The protagonist asked her to wait, and asked what was going on and what she was doing in his room. She explained that their rooms in the inn were next to each other, and she came to wake him up, and the door was unlocked. The protagonist remembered that they had been drinking in the same inn the night before, and he had drunk so much that he did not remember much. Sonia asked if he always got up at this time, and the protagonist replied that he liked to sleep in the morning. Then she noticed that he was a bit lazy, and the protagonist confirmed it. She said that she would wake him up from now on, and he started yelling at her not to do it. Sonia came to the door and said that if he didn't like it, then he should get up early. His sleeping face was very cute, did he know? Looking at the torn bed, he thought that he didn't know how difficult it was to organize a group. After a while, they were walking along the streets, and Sonia said that she had applied to join his party. If he wanted, they could view each other's stats. A system window appeared displaying Sonia Clark, 17 years old, level 65, HP 700 out of 700, MP 300 out of 300, attack power 10, defense 500, unique skill, unapproachable. The protagonist said that her defense was the quintessence of a number, several times greater than his own. Sonia noticed that he had 2 unique skills, and he asked if that was true. She said that she had seen many teams before and had never seen anything like it. And yet he was not arrogant about it, using his power to help her, not to make money. He was an amazing person. The protagonist replied that she should not worry. It was fine. He was not used to it, so he was embarrassed. Sonia asked where they were going today. The protagonist suggested, how about an E-rank dungeon? If Sonia was okay with it? He thought that he should go to the deepest part of it. There are 2 dungeons in this village, one F and one E rank, right? If you defeat the boss in both, you can get an achievement. Sonia did not have this yet, so he thought it would be a good idea to fix that. After all, achievements increase status. After everything that happened, he doesn't insist on it, but Sonia said no, she's ready, this time he's with her. MC said he'll save his new magic for her then. This got him interested, and with his level, he should be able to get it. Fire volley, level cost 50, mana consumption 200, base damage 4000, fire attribute, cast time 3 seconds. Fire volley acquired. Sonia asked what now. Our protagonist replied that his counterpart spends levels to get items and magic. He just used 50 out of 60 levels. So now he's level 10, and if an attack hits him, he'll die right away. He's been doing this for a long time. He'll be fine. Sonia replied that this is very brave, and she doesn't think she'll ever be able to be like that. Then she'll prevent the attack, won't let anyone touch him. The protagonist replied that it was very encouraging. Then he looked at his hand and with a smile suggested trying the power of his new magic. They are fighting in the dungeon. The protagonist shouts that the enemy is here and offers to hit everyone at once and asked to give him 4 seconds. To which Sonia replied, good, and began to attract the attention of the monsters to herself. She called them all to her. When they were behind the agrons, everyone was on her. The protagonist praised her for doing a good job. He used a fire spear. In surprise, Sonia shouted 2 at once. She could not believe that he was able to remove them so quickly. To which the protagonist replied that it was not only his merit. Sonia is great at luring enemies, isn't she? To which Sonia replied that she was just doing her job. The kobold fighter appeared at the right moment. Sonia shouted that he could continue, and the protagonist used a fire spear again. Then he said that they got to the lower levels so quickly. Sonia has to fight the boss again to get the achievement, right? To which Sonia replied that only victory will ensure that she does. The protagonist said that he just defeated the King Frog yesterday. There is no one there now, right? Sonia asked him if he knows where monsters come from. The main character replied that he never thought about it, he was just trying to survive. Sonia began to tell that monsters are born when something called demonic elements gather in the atmosphere. Where there is a concentration of magical elements, strong monsters are easily born, which is why the deeper they go into the dungeon, the stronger the enemies become. In other words, the King Frog whom he defeated yesterday, it is quite possible that he will appear again. They approach the place where the boss appears. The protagonist said, indeed, the barrier is here again. He asked her not to worry, he will not run away for anything. Sonia replied that she believes in him. And then the boss appeared in front of them. Sonia shouted that he should cast a spell immediately. She parries the attack. No matter how many times, you just have to destroy it. The protagonist looked at the boss and said that it was a little bigger than the last time. Sonia defended against the boss's attacks and said that they were not the same as last time. The frog attacked. Sonia blocked the attack. The protagonist said that it was nice to see that he had immunity to attack. He felt safe trying new magic. This spell takes 3 seconds. He started counting 3, 2, 1, 0 and used a fire volley. With one attack, he was able to knock down the boss. Sonia said surprisingly, the Frog King used to be such a threat, but now it only takes one hit. The protagonist said that he, of course, thought about something like this, but did not expect it to be so easy. This is magic with a base damage of 4,000. Additional experience for defeating a strong opponent, the level is increased from 38 to 58. The protagonist said with surprise that he rose 20 levels in one fell swoop. He did not know that the distribution of experience can increase the levels so much. Sonia replied that she also has achievements. She has achieved her goal. The protagonist said that the fun is not over yet and took out a knife. Then he added that it is necessary to obtain materials. Last time they talked and he forgot about it. Sonia stood happily and looked at him and said that boys like hunting, right? Today's result, a magic stone of rank E, 1000 for each 24 pieces. E rank magic stone, 2000 for each 1 piece. Royal and frog skin 800 each 10 pieces. Then Sonia suggested collecting everything together and putting it in the item box, because this magic is also very useful. The protagonist replied that if they cash out, they will have a lot of silver. Then he added that tomorrow he was leaving Foil Village. He would like to invite her to a D-rank dungeon. Sonia noticed that his powers had become too significant for this village and agreed with the need to leave. The protagonist, holding meat and a mug in his hands, in turn said that he could say the same about her. Then he voiced his achievements. His level reached 78 and Sonia's 82. Both of them are able to fight D-rank dungeons. The protagonist drew attention to his improved indicators and Sonia agreed with him. She asked where the nearest dungeon of such a rank is. The protagonist replied that he did not know how long he had been gone and became thoughtful. Sonia suggested that at such a time it would be best to ask other people or buy a map, but maps with the location of dungeons were quite rare. The protagonist, putting his hand to his chin, said, "Information. Maps? Great idea. He knows a suitable place." They headed to the item shop, where Carter met them. He said, Well, look who's here, Mr. Roa. How can he help him? They have some great items and a discount especially for him." The protagonist, hearing this, thought that Carter, poor guy, had changed a lot. Sonia, joining the conversation, asked, "What does this mean, Mr. Roa? Is he friends with this seller?" The protagonist replied that no, he was only here on business. Carter said enviously, "Since when have you been with such a beauty? Damn him and let him die." The protagonist thought that he had returned. The protagonist then turned to Carter and asked, "Do they have a map in the shop, preferably with dungeons?" Carter replied, "Map? No, all the adventurers want one so it sells out fast. He doesn't even know what he's talking about, idiot." At that moment, the door suddenly opened and Carter's father walked in. He said that they had a map and walked up to his son, telling him not to call customers idiots. He then opened the map and placed it on the table, offering the protagonist to take it. It was the map he used when he was an adventurer himself. Sonia asked, "Isn't it hand-drawn?" The protagonist said that they can't take something that important. The father replied, "What's wrong with the trouble his idiot son caused him? And it's better if it goes to someone strong. If they want to get to the next dungeon, they should go to the city of Lambert, which is in the northeast. It takes 2 days to get there from here." The protagonist thanked the old man for the information and said that they would leave the village tomorrow. Carter was displeased and said that the noise would finally subside. His father, on the other hand, was looking forward to their next meeting to see how they had grown. The next morning, the protagonist wanted to go to bed, but Sonia grabbed him by the scruff of the neck and dragged him along the ground. The protagonist asked if they could go out a little later. He couldn't walk so early in the morning. Sonia replied that it was a beautiful morning, a great time to take a walk. The protagonist thought that they were finally leaving this place. He had been struggling with failed skills for so long, and when he suddenly received a new one, he wondered why he had to wait so long. It was because of all the hard work he had done. "Thank you for all these years, Foil Village." They walked through the field and fought various monsters along the way. The protagonist asked that there were weak monsters around, right? Sonia replied that the demonic element outside was thin, but one should never let down their guard. It was rare, but sometimes a pool of magical elements would appear, and that was how powerful demons were born. The protagonist laughed and said that even if that were the case, he didn't think they were stronger than the dungeon monsters. And suddenly a cart rushes by and from there they shout for help. The protagonist was perplexed and asked, "What? Is that a stripe?" This cart was driven by a girl. She was screaming for help, for someone to help her, because a monster was chasing her and it wanted to kill her. Sonia asked, "Girl?" The protagonist said that a demon was chasing the cart. He offered to finish it off. Grizzly Bear, recommended level, 130, rank D. The protagonist thought that he was scared. Roa level 78, Sonia level 82. Sonia shouted that she would attract his attention, and while she was doing this, let him use a spell. The protagonist told her to calm down, he could come anyway. The monster did not need to be lured. He used the fire volley magic and knocked the monster down. Masha turned around and looked at him. She was shocked. She said that the monster fell behind. Sonia said that it was amazing. Extra experience for defeating a strong enemy. Level increased from 78 to 80. Masha ran to the main character and screamed, "Thank you very much." She hugged him and said that she was so scared. He saved her life. And she said that she thought he would bite her to death. Sonia started screaming that she did not respect the man who saved her life. She hugs him with such a face. She asked to wipe away her tears. She was ruining her sweet face with them. Masha cried even harder and said that she was kindness itself. "Thank you for that." Then she added that she was a merchant. She was on a familiar road, but then lost her way. She was going to Lamberg, but ended up in an unknown place. The main character asked, "Lamberg?" They were going there too. "Can they go together?" Masha said that, "Of course, you're welcome." She would like to say so, but the cart is full of goods. There are many travelers, adventurers in Lamberg, so there is a lot of equipment among them. The protagonist said that there is no problem. He freed the cart with the help of magic. Masha was furious and screamed. All her things were gone. The protagonist said that he put them in the item box, so she should not worry, they are fine. Masha asked, "Did the bales of goods fit? Can wizards do this?" Sonia said, "Of course," and praised MC. The protagonist asked not to talk to him like a dog. Then the protagonist said that he has an idea. Now there is some free space, so he thinks we can collect hay, and it turned out to be a sleeping place. Magic takes so much energy. Sonia said that he just likes to sleep, and suggested going. Masha said that then they are going to Lamberg. On the way they took a break. They made a fire and sat, drank tea near it, then went on again. Then Sonia started to wake up the protagonist and said that they had arrived in Lamberg. The protagonist opened his eyes and was very surprised, said, "Wow, so many people, so many buildings." Masha asked, "Is this their first time in Lamberg?" Many adventurers use this city as a base because of the large number of requests they receive. MC thanked her and asked her to stop. They would go on foot from here. Masha said okay and stopped them. Then the protagonist said that he was returning all the goods, and the cart was filled with goods. Masha was surprised and said that this was really useful magic, and invited him to go with her. To which Sonia said that Roa was with her. Masha was upset and said that she was very sorry, and added that she was also traveling, so maybe they would meet somewhere else. She added that when they became great adventurers, she was waiting for an invitation to visit. The protagonist waved to her and said, "See you." They arrived at Lamberg Inn. Sonia asked what about the rooms in the local inn. If they were going to stay here for a couple of nights, they should save money by sharing one room. The protagonist asked, "Common room?" and said no, it would be better to rent two, even if it was more expensive. Sonia said she didn't mind. Why not? The protagonist shouted that it was out of the question, then he wouldn't be able to sleep properly in the morning. He couldn't let a beautiful girl like her share a room with him. Sonia was shocked by the words. She asked, "Beautiful?" She didn't think so. The protagonist shouted that it was true. The administrator said if they were just here to show off, then they should leave. The MC said that they could earn money for their stay, explore the dungeons tomorrow, they would cash in the loot they got there. Sonia didn't have to worry about the money. Sonia was sad and said that it didn't work. The protagonist thought that he was acting like a gentleman, but for some reason, Sonia was in a bad mood. Does her stomach hurt? The next day, Sonia came to wake up the protagonist and said, "Good morning." She received some information from the guild while he was sleeping. It seems that the D-rank dungeon is outside the city. Sonia got up early again today. She replied that he was so dynamic today, he changed his hairstyle. Then she pointed with her finger that here it is, the D-rank Lambert dungeon. Sonia said if this is a D-rank dungeon, then it has a different atmosphere from the very entrance. MC said that entering a dungeon for the first time is very exciting. Sonia said that if there is any danger inside, for him to just run away. She feels that she is ready for anything, ready to give up her life for this. The protagonist said that he does not need such determination, he does not intend to abandon her. Sonia suggested doing everything possible. Attacking a D-rank dungeon. They walked through the dungeon. The protagonist said that it was a gloomy place. Sonia said that it looked like an abandoned sewer. Some dungeons are uneven in the attributes of the enemies that appear. It seems that there are many water monsters. The protagonist thought, water? Attributes have their advantages and disadvantages. If it is an advantageous attribute, the damage is doubled, and if it is a disadvantage, it is halved. Fireballs he has now are disadvantageous. The mana consumption for one volley is 200 units, so even if he can shoot it, he can only shoot it twice. He then looked at his skills. He does not know if he can kill it with 2 shots, but he has never seen water monsters, so he can't wait to see who he will fight. At this moment Sonia shouted that an enemy appeared. The protagonist shouted, "A monster with red armor, a crab? Is this a joke?" A red armored crab appears in front of them. Recommended level 150, rank D. The protagonist shouted, "Sonia, come on." She used homing. Skill level 8. Homing controls enemy attacks on him, increases movement speed by 1.2 times. The protagonist used a fire volley. Sonia shouted that it was not enough. The protagonist agreed that one hit was not enough. He used another one. Sonia shouted that he fell. The protagonist said that it was good, but he no longer had mana left. Then the monster attacked again. Sonia used Steel Wall, skill level 9. Defense increased by 90%. She turned to the protagonist and said that she bought him 10 seconds, and added that he should quickly restore mana while there is time. He thanked her and took out a potion, then drank it. Then he said that he would fry him and used a fire volley again. Extra experience for defeating a strong enemy. Level increased from 80 to 82. Sonia shouted that they did it. It's time to collect magic stones. The protagonist agreed with her, but to kill one such monster, he needs 3 spells. He will need items, and this is a lot of work. Sonia asked, does he want to get lightning magic? The protagonist answered, yes, he has one thing he always wanted to get. Lightning throw, mana consumption 150, base damage 2500. Lightning attribute, casting time 1.5 seconds, cost in levels 50. The protagonist said that compared to the fire volley, the base damage is less, but the mana and casting time are less. Sonia put her hand to her chin and thought that this is a beneficial attribute, so of course it is useful here. Then she said that if he gets it, his level will drop to 32, and any damage received will be fatal. Not too big a risk? The main character told her not to worry, but he was pleased to hear such words from her. He hoped that she would continue to take care of him, and he thanked her. Sonia was pleased and laughed. The lightning throw was received. Then he said that he wanted to see how far this magic could take them, and he suggested trying to go further, to which Sonia agreed. After defeating the monster, the guys went further. Sonia noted that the further they went into the dungeon, the darker it became. The protagonist answered her that it was quite possible that an ambush could be waiting in the darkness. Sonia said that it could be dangerous and suggested that he walk next to her. Roa said that it was at such moments that they should use life magic and summoned a beam of light. He turned to Sonia and asked if this much light was enough for her. She answered positively, but she was still a little cold, so she again suggested walking closer. MC agreed with her words. He also felt cool. For such moments, Roa had firewood with him. He kept it in the item box. The boys stopped. The protagonist used ignition magic and set fire to the wood. With the help of magic, he heated up the drinking water and made a warm drink. The protagonist was glad that he took the camping kit with him. Thanks to this, they warmed up. Sonia was pleased. She said that magic really can do anything. She said that this tea was simply delicious and asked what kind it was. Roa said that he bought it in secret when he had money. He thought that the former noblewoman might like the taste. The girl smiled and told the protagonist that he was surprisingly gallant. He smiled and said that there was no need to be surprised because Sonia herself said so. Suddenly, an eternally dying squid recommended level 155, rank D, pounced on them from the wall. The squid grabbed Sonia and lifted it high into the air. Roa immediately caused a flash of magic. He attacked the squid with a lightning bolt and hit it right in the tentacle that Sonia was in. She praised Roa and shouted at him that it was a great hit. He managed to defeat the monster. The protagonist won. The system window notified him that he was awarded additional experience for defeating a strong opponent. Level increased 32 to 55. Roa shouted with joy. He said that his level went up by 23 at once. From such a situation, it would be useful to reduce the casting time. Sonia thanked him for saving her. She said that this is excellent magic. MC thought about what to choose. He thought that if it was about the amount of damage, then the fire volley would be better. He decided that from now on he would have to use different magic depending on the situation. Sonia laughed at the protagonist and said that he looked like a little boy. He asked her, really? He decided that she thought he was just having fun. He didn't know that fighting with someone was so much fun. He was happy that he was getting stronger and stronger, and he was sure that it was visible on his face. MC turned to Sonia and asked, looking at his face, can you tell that he is a boy? The girl looked at him carefully, and after a second, she laughed loudly. Through her laughter, she said, Roa, stop making funny faces. She said that he is becoming like a slime that was twisted like a rag. The protagonist exclaimed, like a rag? What kind of terrible comparison did she suggest? Returning from the dungeon, the first thing the guys did was go to the store. Their result for today was a D-rank magic stone 2000 per piece x 20. They introduced themselves to the seller at the store, Roa 55-101, Sonia 84-115, and asked to cash out their loot. The seller apologized to them and asked if she could see their guild card. The protagonist answered positively and handed her his card. The saleswoman studied his card closely, and then she asked them if they really got so many D-rank stones themselves. Roa smiled and told her that they didn't steal them, if that's what she was asking. The seller asked the guys to wait 1 minute. She was going to call an appraiser. Roa was indignant. He didn't understand why they always suspected him. He asked, "Does he really look that weak? Does he really look like a slime that's twisted like a rag?" Sonia answered him, "Don't take everything so seriously." She said that they were E-rank adventurers who had just arrived in Landberg. She said that it was rare for a small group to achieve such results. Sonia then grabbed Roa's cloak, started shaking him in different directions and shouting that he was strong, the strongest. The salesgirl left the room and thanked them for waiting. The appraiser followed her. He asked which stones needed to be checked. "These?" The appraiser said he would check to see if the stones were stolen. He took out a magnifying glass and began to examine the stones. The guys waited for him to finish. The appraiser looked up at them with a stern gaze and they frowned in response. The appraiser frowned even more and looked at the guys again. Then he smiled broadly and told the seller to cash them in. He said that magic stones collected from monsters begin to disintegrate over time. And these stones had not even begun to disintegrate yet. The stones were just collected. The seller said that she was very sorry that she doubted them, but she had never had anyone of such rank who could get such a sum. Roa shrank with joy. He literally bent in half with happiness. Sonia tried to calm his hysterical laughter. She suggested that Roa, the next time they found themselves in a new city, moderate his ardor, so as not to arouse suspicion again. The protagonist replied that he was in a good mood today, so he fought a lot. The seller, to make amends, offered the guys to buy everything at a higher price. Roa said, "Sonia, what luck?" The appraiser asked them, "Do you need money?" MC answered positively, "They need money for living." Roa smiled and said that this time he had a lot of fun raising his level. The appraiser was surprised and asked, "Really?" The appraiser suggested that next time they find a monster's lair. The protagonist asked again, "A monster's lair?" The appraiser said that, as the name suggests, this is a place where monsters gather. Sometimes they can be found in dungeons above rank D. The appraiser told the guys that if they are confident in their abilities, they can go looking for monsters. Sonia asked Roa what he thought about it. He answered positively. He said that it will help them gain experience. They will be able to gain it for the future. Roa left the store very satisfied. He looked at Sonia with excitement in his eyes and asked if she had ever seen a monster lair. Could she guess how many there would be? He shouted that he knew how many monsters there would be. He spread his arms out to the sides and shouted, "There will be so many of them." Sonia smiled and told him to calm down, because his squeals made him look like a boy again. She said that she had never encountered this either, and agreed that it would be a very effective method to raise his level. Sonia said that if there were too many monsters, it would be more difficult for them to work with magic. The protagonist confirmed this and replied that yesterday at the inn he looked through the list of spells, and some of them seemed good to him. He showed it to Sonia. This is the spell, Thunderer's Lightning. It works for a long-range attack. Thunderer's Lightning MP consumption, 400 base damage, 7000, attribute, lightning, casting time 7 sec, cost in levels 1 to 50. Sonia was surprised and asked, "Is this wide-range magic?" Roa answered positively and said that it still deals quite a lot of base damage. He said that the problem is that the casting time and MP consumption are no longer small, and he also does not have enough levels. Sonia said that the MC is currently at level 101, he won't be able to get it now. He looked at the girl and said that there is no need to rush, he will start raising the level right now. He said that he found one thing while looking through magic. This concerns MP. On the screen, he showed a ring. Magic ring cost in levels, 50. Effect, MP 400. Sonia said, "I see, it's time to create items." Roa replied that if it increases MP so much at a cost of 50 levels, then he has no choice but to create it. MC created this ring with magic. He put it on his hand and asked Sonia how she liked it. She replied that the protagonist has beautiful hands, so the ring suits him. He thanked Sonia for the compliment. Suddenly, a sound was heard behind the protagonist. He turned around and in front of him was an eternally dying squid. Recommended level, 155, rank D. Sonia shouted to the protagonist, "Let's do it." MC attacked, he used lightning throw. They defeated the monster. After that they focused on leveling up, and they stayed in the dungeon for a few more days. The result of the first day is a magic stone of rank D, x25, Roa 51 112, Sonia 152 138. While traveling through the dungeon they encountered the ever-dying squid again. They were not happy about this meeting, because after Sonia reached level 130, the monsters with the recommended level 150 will no longer give an X bonus. The result of the second day is a D-rank magic stone Roa 112 150, Sonia 138 150. With the strategy of disbanding the party once and collecting XP only for Roa, they quickly and easily reached their goal of 150 levels. Day 3. Roa was happy and inspired that he can now get the lightning of the Thunderer. He was so excited that he missed one moment. He was missing one level. After all, if he spends 150 levels out of 150, there will be no level, so he needs level 151. MC killed the first crab that came to hand and got level 151. He did it because he was furious, and he did not regret. Opening his palm wide, he was delighted that now he had finally received it, the lightning of the thunderer. The protagonist's unique skills are item creation, magic, life magic, fire spear, very small item box, fire volley, lightning throw, thunderbolt lightning. Roa shouted, now he is level 1 again. HP 60 out of 60, MP 480 out of 480, attack power 15, defense 10. MC was happy that the magic ring gives him a lot of MP. He showed this ring to Sonia with a smile. She said that perhaps there is no other level 1 who would be so happy. The girl said that she would like to see what kind of magic the protagonist is capable of. Roa said that they need to form a group again. The guys applied to create a group, but they were rejected. The protagonist was surprised and asked why we can't apply again. Sonia explained that you can't create a group if the difference in the level of the participants is more than 100. It would be too easy if everyone could unite with someone who has a much higher level. Roa understood the reason. He would have to raise his level again to a certain value. Sonia encouraged him. She said that MC would succeed if she helped him a little. She asked him to leave it to her. She said that she would bring a few monsters with her and asked Roa to wait for her here. The protagonist thanked her for her help. He said that 3 to 4 monsters would be enough and asked her to be careful. Sonia agreed and set off. And the protagonist was deep in thought. He did not expect to gain so many levels in 2 days. In the village, he tried his best to reach at least level 50. He wondered how much the new magic would increase his level from 1 if he killed all the monsters at once, maybe by 50 levels or 60? He couldn't wait to try it out. He heard Sonia's voice behind him. She was screaming loudly and running as fast as she could. MC was surprised at how quickly the girl brought the monsters. He turned around and saw only 2 monsters. Sonia was screaming and asking for forgiveness. She was asking him to help her. The protagonist started counting how many monsters there were. Were there 8? And he shouted to Sonia that he would start casting right now, and asked her to run to him. Sonia ran towards MC very quickly. He prepared to use magic, but the protagonist needed 7 seconds to cast the spell. He was going to use magic for area damage. If he miscalculated the time, he could hit Sonia too. But it would be too late if the enemy got too close. He estimated the time it would take Sonia to get to him and started using magic. Sonia was tired. She was at her limit. Her stamina was running out. Roa wondered if they would have time to use it in time. Sonia screamed at the top of her lungs. She was asking to shoot quickly. MC shouted at her to speed up. He was going to use magic. The girl replied that she would not be able to run away. Her strength was at its limit. Roa started the countdown. He said, 2 seconds. 1 second, and then shouted at Sonia to jump. The girl jumped with all her might into his arms. He managed to catch her and release a stream of magic towards the monster. He released the lightning of the thunderer. It was powerful. The monsters hissed. They were literally torn apart. The power of this magic was very high. Pieces of the monsters were scattered in different directions. Sonia was surprised by what was happening after the battle. Magic stones knocked out of these monsters were floating in the air. She looked at Roa. He was no less surprised. A system window popped up in front of MC. He immersed himself in it, studying his new skills. Now his status looked like this. Level 110, HP 690 out of 690, MP 1100 out of 1100, attack power 119, defense 102. Sonia saw this and said that it was amazing. The protagonist was very happy that his level rose to 110 right from the first time. He laughed, jumped with joy and said that it was so exciting. The girl said that it was amazing. Amazing that Roa managed to kill 8 monsters at once. He turned to Sonia and said that he was glad that she was not hurt, and also said that it was unusual for her to make mistakes. Sonia bowed her head, closed her eyes and asked for forgiveness. She said that she overdid it a little, and thought that the protagonist would do something, get out of this situation. He calmed her down and told her not to worry, because everything went well, and thanks to her he gained a lot of experience. He said that he was sure that in the near future they would not be short of money, and looked at all the stones that fell from the monsters. There were a lot of them. MC used magic to collect all the stones, because putting it in a bag would be too much trouble. Sonia liked how quickly the protagonist collected all the stones thanks to magic. She said that it was amazing. She smiled and added that it would be much easier to clean her room if Roa was nearby. He asked her, "Is this a compliment?" MC finished collecting the stones and they were about to leave, when suddenly from the darkness they heard a voice asking for help. Roa looked at Sonia and asked her what it was. Was it a human voice? Sonia replied that this voice was coming from there and pointed her finger the way. They hurried to help. Having run to help, the guys saw a guy. He was fighting alone with a large number of monsters. They asked him if he was okay. The guy saw them and asked, "Are you adventurers too?" He thanked God that they were here and asked the guys for help. The guys said that he screwed up and that he was surrounded by monsters. He couldn't handle it alone. Sonia said that this guy was injured. Roa replied that they would help him. He asked Sonia to gather all the enemies into one pile. The protagonist prepared to use magic. He calculated the range and used the Thunderer's lightning. A huge blinding explosion knocked down all the monsters at once. The guy couldn't believe his eyes. He asked how this was possible. They must be joking. How did they manage to defeat all the monsters with one blow? The guy went down to the guys. Rowan noticed that the guy was covered in blood and asked if he was okay. The guy replied that he was fine. He thanked the protagonist for saving his life and called MC a wizard. The guy said that he was in pain from fighting the monsters, but not much, and then looked at Roa. System notifications about leveling up flashed around the protagonist. The guy was surprised at how effective magic was. MC said not to pay attention to these system notifications. After they got out of the dungeon, they went to the bar. The guy thanked them for helping him and saving his life. He said that all the treats were on him, that they could eat as much as they wanted. Roa asked him if he was sure. After all, they did nothing wrong. Then the protagonist took the largest piece of meat and began to eat it. The guy saw this and asked Roa, was he starving? Then he apologized for not introducing himself to them earlier. Eric, a D-rank adventurer, he introduced himself. Sonia, the girl, introduced herself to him. And this is Roa the glutton, she introduced MC. Roa was indignant and said that she was speaking as if it was his middle name. Eric told Roa that he looked young, but very experienced. He asked the protagonist what rank he was. Since MC can use such magic, it means that he is at least a C rank. Roa answered in the negative. He continued to eat the meat and said that his rank is still E. Eric asked again, how is it an E rank? He shouted at MC not to lie to him. There is no way that Eric is lower than the protagonist. The guy asked Roa if he means to say that he only became an adventurer recently. The protagonist took a bite of the meat and answered in the negative to Eric's question. He said that he has been doing this for quite a long time. Eric did not understand how this was possible. He was completely shocked. Sonia smiled and told Eric that Roa's situation was quite difficult to explain. Eric did not understand why the protagonist did not laugh at him and seemed like a nice guy. Eric was completely confused by this. Roa turned to Eric and asked, what about him? Isn't he in a party with someone? The guy replied that he was in a party not long ago, but he was kicked out because he could not withstand the competition. He said that he thought he could handle it himself, and now he was here. MC tried to support Eric and said that this is a common story among seekers and adventurers. Eric replied that it seems that he is just not cut out for this, and asked if it is time for him to move on. Sonia supported the conversation and told Eric that he was wrong. This is just the beginning. The guy laughed and asked Sonia if she wanted to be in a group with him. The girl did not expect such a question. She froze in a stupor. Eric asked, Ro is better, isn't it? And then said that he was just joking. Eric said that everything is fine, this happens all the time. He said that many reach about D rank and then quit, and now he does not want to do this for fun. Eric said that he would rather take up the family tool shop than die in the dungeons. Roa told him that the tool shop is great, and you can apply the experience gained in this. The protagonist thought, does this mean Eric has been trying in this city for a long time? He decided to ask Eric what kind of boss the dungeon had. The guy replied that he had never been to the lower level himself. Rumors were that there was a C-rank monster there. MC thought again, then they needed magic that could defeat a C-rank in one hit. Eric said that if they wanted to increase their rank, they would have to do more quests from the guild, and as far as he could tell, they shouldn't stand out too much. He warned them to be careful, and not to mess with weirdos. Strong guys are easy targets. Then Eric looked at Roa, smirked, and said that he looked like he only gets into situations like this. MC replied that he wasn't afraid. He was used to it. They sat in the bar for a long time and talked a lot, argued with each other. When the sun rose and morning came, MC woke up very exhausted. He didn't understand. Was it morning already? He couldn't remember how he got to bed. The only thing he remembered was that they had sat in the bar for a long time yesterday. Roa turned over and was shocked to see Sonia next to him. They had slept in the same bed. Sonia opened her eyes slightly and said, Mr. Roa, so close. Then she closed her eyes, giggled, and said that it was a good dream. The protagonist didn't know what to answer. He couldn't find the words. He abruptly jumped out of bed, lifted the blanket, and covered Sonia again. He said that he was glad that they were both dressed, which meant nothing had happened. Sonia got scared and immediately woke up. She asked whose room was this. The protagonist said that he probably took her to the hotel and then just got tired and fell here. Sonia was shocked. She grabbed her head and screamed. She asked, so what? She had slept next to him. It wasn't a dream? The protagonist calmed her down. He said that nothing interesting had happened, that he was very tired. Sonia jumped out of bed, covered her face with her hands, and ran out of the room saying that she was very ashamed. Roa was surprised. He thought that he behaved like a gentleman, but for some reason Sonia kicked the door down. He said that he did not understand what women want. In the afternoon, the guys went to the guild. In the Lamberg guild, a girl met them. She was waiting for them to arrive. She said that Eric told her about the guys. Eric said that they saved him with the help of magic. The girl asked the guys, "Do you seem a little nervous? Did you sleep well last night?" Roa and Sonia looked at each other and answered positively. They slept peacefully. The girl from the guild asked to give them their guild cards. She also said that they are assigned rank D. The protagonist asked her if this is true. The girl answered positively. She said that yesterday they brought quite a lot of magic stones and handed them their new cards. Roa beamed with happiness. He was given a new, beautiful silver card. He could not believe that his new title was now Wizard, and before there was Newbie. The girl from the guild asked the guys, "Why don't they look at the new tasks?" These tasks were just posted, so there might be good work for them. The guys went to the task board and began to read the tasks. On one of the leaflets, Sonia noticed a request to destroy a monster lair and told Roa about it. The protagonist saw the reward that was promised for completing this task, a reward of 150,000 muru. He said that this is quite a lot compared to other tasks. Sonia said that it is in a D-rank dungeon, level 6. They have not gone this far yet. MC took the leaflet with this task and told Sonia not to worry. He said that they will definitely cope with it, because he already has enough levels. Suddenly, Roa and Sonia were called by another team. They said that this was their task. In front of them stood 3 guys from another team, 2 guys and 1 girl. These 3 said that this, the rumored duo, was not yet capable of. Sonia was surprised, and Roa got angry. The protagonist asked these 3, "What kind of rumors are these, and what do they need?" One of the guys asked Roa, "Does he know what kind of rumors are going around about them?" He said that now among adventurers there is a lot of talk. He told one of these rumors to the guys. They say that there is a group that includes a tank who is unable to attack and a mage who kills with 1 hit. Sonia was surprised and looked at the protagonist. She was called a tank unable to attack. Roa frowned and answered rudely. He apologized, but this task is not discussed. The monster lair is what they were looking for in the first place. He does not intend to give it to the other team. This guy tried to snatch the mission flyer. He said it was too early for them to participate in this. MC started waving his hands in front of this guy's face, not giving him a chance to take the mission. The guy got really angry. His voice broke into a squeak. He screamed at the protagonist not to get carried away with this, because he was a small fish. The second guy tried to calm him down. He told him, "Jake, calm down." The girl from their team smiled and apologized for having to see this. The second guy tried to calm Jake down. He told him to stop being hysterical. Jake told his guys not to apologize to Sonia and Roa. They don't deserve it. The girl said that Jake was wrong. They look pretty strong. Roa and Sonia were shocked after the guy's hysteria. Sonia asked, "What's wrong with this guy?" The protagonist answered. Now they know he's weird and told Sonia that they have to go. The boys went down to the D-rank dungeon, level 5. They fought a monster. Sonia used a shield, Roa used magic, he used Thunderer's lightning. They defeated this monster in battle. While they were fighting the monster, they didn't notice that they were being followed. They were being followed by a team that wanted to get this quest. The second guy asked Jake, "Isn't this being followed?" Jake rudely replied to shut the guy up. He said that he would make fun of every failure of the MC team. Jake said, "Look, they will definitely screw up." The girl replied that she did not quite agree with his words. She said that this wizard kills monsters with 1 blow, as they say. She noted that even with a favorable attribute, it is impossible to deal such a blow without the appropriate magic. The girl said that what he had just done was magic used by the best C-rank adventurers. She was lost in her thoughts. Roa seemed like the best wizard to her, even better than herself, and most importantly, she really liked him. Jake's voice pulled her out of her thoughts. He shouted at her what nonsense she was talking about. He said what difference did it make what he could do? Jake said that they were the #1 group in Lamberg. He was disgusted that they wanted to compare them with these newbies. He thought that they were much better than them. The girl told Jack that she probably agreed with this. The second guy smiled and said that Jake was kind of weird. The guys moved further along the dungeon. The protagonist said that it was time for them to level 6 and pointed towards a dark passage. Sonia asked if Mr. Roa had already reached level 152. She said that he would be able to immediately increase his level after the battle, so it would be better to use it for something. The protagonist agreed with her and said that this was exactly their plan. He opened the status window and highlighted 3 things he liked. Purple Flash, MP consumption 300, base damage 12,000, lightning attribute, cast time 2 seconds, cooldown 20 seconds, required stats, attack power 500, cost in levels 150. Mithril sword effect, attack power plus 400, level cost 150. Physical enhancement, MP consumption, seconds X enhancement multiplier x 10, multiplier is in the range of 1 to 3 times. Effect, increases physical ability, attributes none, casting time zeros, level cost 200. Roa said that Purple Flash can only be used when the attack power is 500. He currently has about 130, so he is going to increase it. He decided to make the Mithril sword item first, and then work on Flash. Roa cashed in his levels and got the mithril sword. Sonia exclaimed that it was cool, it looked really good. She told MC that she couldn't believe that he was now level 2. He asked her not to say that. He said that he needed experience. He apologized to Sonia and asked if they could disband their party again. Sonia answered positively. She said that now if he destroyed all the monsters, they would have another big climb. The protagonist shouted that he was ready. They were heading to the monster's lair. Having gone down, the guys saw a terrible picture. This level was teeming with monsters. They had never met so many terrible monsters in one place. The monsters were everywhere. Their number was impossible to count. Sonia was horrified. Roa said that it was very creepy here and smiled. Sonia told him that they needed to try to get rid of them with one big shot. She said that they needed to take into account the mana consumption and the casting time. If he missed, it would be bad. The protagonist said that he knew it. Sonia told him that she would be the protection when it became dangerous. She would hold out as long as she could. MC replied negatively. He told her that if it became dangerous, leave this place immediately. He shouted, "Go ahead." Roa attracted the attention of the monsters. He shouted at them to come to him. The monsters heard the shout and started moving towards the protagonist. Roa stood still and prepared to use magic. The monsters were approaching him very quickly. The 3 guys who were watching Sonia and Roa appeared in the dungeon. The girls shouted for the guys to look at MC. He was going to do something. Jake exclaimed, "What is he doing? He is deliberately attracting enemies." Jake gritted his teeth in anger. The girl from his team asked, "Will Roa cope?" She was worried about MC and shouted, "The monsters will kill him." Roa did not notice what was happening around him. He was preparing to attack. Sonia crossed her arms in worry and said that there were 3 seconds left. Then there were 2 seconds left. The monsters opened their mouths and were ready to attack the protagonist. There was 1 second left. The monster's jaw was next to Roa's head. When suddenly he opened his eyes, put his hand forward, and screamed. He called down the Thunderer's lightning. Lightning thundered in the air. It tore the monsters apart. The sky was filled with lightning light, incinerating the monsters. The screams of the monsters were heard around. The monsters screamed hysterically. Roa won. The opposing team was completely confused. They were shocked. None of them expected Roa to cope with this alone. Jake asked what was this? Who was he? Roa stood and trembled. His whole body was shaking. He said that he did not know how many times he felt this. System windows appeared around Roa again, notifying him that his level had increased. MC said that he felt a sudden surge of strength again. He said that it was wonderful. Roa's level indicator grew, 167th level, 168th level, 169th level, and stopped at 170th level. Now his status looked like this. HP 750 out of 750, MP 1170 out of 1170, attack power 579, defense 162. Sonia asked in surprise. From the first level, straight to 170? She shouted that it was amazing. Sonia told Roa to look at all these corpses and said that they would be able to get a lot of materials from this one. MC said that they couldn't handle that many and that they should take the best materials and go home. Sonia laughed and said that they had plenty to choose from. Suddenly, another team appeared on the horizon. They were surprised that the main character destroyed the monster's lair with one blow. They talked among themselves, discussing who could use such magic. There might not be any strong mages like Roa and Lamberg who could do something like that. The second guy told Jake that it was a complete defeat. He said that he knew that it would upset Jake, but these guys were the best in the city. Jake said that he wouldn't admit it. Jake shouted that he wouldn't admit it and would never admit it. He decided to challenge them to a duel. The second character told him to forget about it, said that their power was dangerous. Jake said that they knew this dungeon better than them, and if they played by the rules, they could win. Jake said that if that happened, they would become the strongest in the city, and he praised his idea. The second character shouted that Jake didn't know what he was talking about. Jake asked what he said. The guy repeated his words, that Jake didn't know what he was talking about, and then he said that there was no point in stopping there, that they could try it. The guy said that they should listen to him and determine the rules of the duel themselves. He said that they don't need any troubles and loss of reputation. Jake agreed with him. They turned to the girl and asked what Dory thought about it. Jake was indignant. Dory didn't even listen to them. Roa and Sonia collected the necessary materials and went to the exit of the dungeon. The opposing team was confused. Why did Roa and Sonia leave so many materials? The guy decided to take the remaining materials for himself. Jake looked at the guy and said that he had no self-esteem at all. Sonia and Roa returned to the guild. A crowd of people gathered around them. In the crowd, everyone was vigorously exchanging rumors about them. Sonia said that she felt their looks on her. Roa said that they were most likely just exchanging rumors about them. He said that there was no need to be upset about it. The protagonist came out with a large bag of money and told Sonia to look how much they earned. He said that they got 120,000 for the magic stones and materials, plus 150,000 as a reward. Thanks to this, they have 853,000 miru. Sonia was happy. She said that they got rich. MC said that it was a little unusual, but there was nothing wrong with that, right? He said that he had been poor for a long time and did not know where to spend it or what to do with it. He said that there was something he would like to try. The guys went to a restaurant and ordered a steak. Sonia was happy, said that it looked very tasty. She said that she had not eaten anything like this for a long time. Roa looked at the food. Sonia asked what was the matter. She asked if the protagonist would cry from the taste of meat as usual. He asked her not to laugh at him. The protagonist said that the taste of meat would no longer make him cry. He was not the same person he used to be. Sonia looked at him and asked if she imagined it or if he didn't know how to use cutlery. Roa jumped up and said that he hadn't had a chance to use it. He said that he had only eaten grass and bugs all his life. Sonia calmed him down. She said that everything was fine and asked him to just repeat after her. Sonia cut off a piece of meat with a knife and stabbed the meat with a fork. She said, for example, "This is how you can eat it." Extending the fork with meat to the protagonist, she asked him to open his mouth. Roa bit off a piece of meat and burst into tears. He said through his tears that it was very tasty. Sonia smiled and said that this was the old Roa. Still is funny. Jake came up to their table and asked Roa and Sonia if it was true that they defeated all the monsters in the dungeon. MC got up from the table and asked what Jake wanted from them this time. Jake said that this time he wanted to show who was boss in this town. He said that he was expecting them in 3 days for a duel. Roa asked again, "What duel?" The protagonist said that he didn't like it. Dory apologized to Roa and said that their leader was a bit stupid. She asked if they wanted to hear about it from her. She took Roa's hand and said that they didn't want to fight. She said that it was just a friendly competition. They wanted to find out who could defeat the dungeon boss faster. Dory said that there would be prizes too. She said that if they won, they would be promoted to C rank. Dory said that she had talked to the guild about it. She said that it would be fun. Jake asked the second guy why Dory was wearing that costume. Where was her usual outfit? The protagonist replied that he didn't know why Dory looked like that. He said that Dory had never smiled at them. Sonia asked MC to do it. She told Roa that she didn't like Dory. The protagonist said that they would defeat the dungeon boss anyway, so he agreed. Roa clenched his fist and shouted that he accepted the challenge. They began to prepare for the day of the fight. Roa said that the dungeon boss was C rank, and so they would need to prepare for the fight. They raised their level by another 20, and also managed to develop Sonia's skills. They improved her skills, steel wall and homing. Now she can acquire new skills. Now Sonia, step by step, only has to move towards new skills. Now the status and skills of Roa and Sonia looked different. Roa Foil, level 200, HP 1050 of 1050, MP 1170 of 1170, attack power 609, defense 192, magic, life magic, fire spear, item box, fire volley, lightning throw, thunderbolt, purple flash. Sonia Clark, level 200, HP 2400 of 2400, MP 1000 of 1000, attack power 10, defense 1800. Unique skill, impregnable, steel wall skill 9, homing 8. Roa was happy. He said that he reached level 200. He said that having 4-digit HP gives him a sense of security. Sonia agreed. She said that it helps a lot. The protagonist said that he is confident that they can defeat them. Sonia agreed. She said that they will not lose. The day of the duel came. Jake, seeing Roa and Sonia, said that they have finally come. Jake threatened them that this is their last day in this city. The official representative of the guild shouted to all the people who were in the area that the hour has come. A group of newbies, overgrown with rumors and proud Jake, with his team of self-proclaimed leaders Lamberg, arrange a duel. The guild representative introduced herself and said that she would be the judge of this duel. Roa began to be indignant. Why did this event become an event? Jake was also surprised. He said that he did not know what was happening here. They themselves just arrived. The guild representative said that the teams are given time to kill the boss and return the team with the help of a transfer stone. The time will be measured with a magic tool. The guild representative said that the winner will bring a rare stone, which will be proof of victory over the boss. They called an appraiser, so it will not be possible to cheat. The guild representative asked who will be first. Jake answered that it will be his team. He told Roa that they will be back in a second and sarcastically asked not to run away. MC told Jake not to worry, they will not run away. Dory approached the protagonist and said that she was looking forward to working with them. She said that Jake's words were harsh, but she did not agree with his opinion. Jake told Dory that it was time for them to go. An hour and a half later, Sonia was sitting sad about something. She decided to ask MC about guys' tastes. She asked if he liked big breasts. Roa answered that it depended on the person. The protagonist said that he preferred someone strong like Sonia, said that it was fun to fight with her. Sonia was happy with these words. A crowd of people called out to Roa's team. People said that Jake's team was back. Jake asked how much time had passed. The guild representative said that it had been 1 hour 32 minutes, and the average time to complete was 2.5 hours, so it was fast. Passersby began to rejoice for Jake's team. Jake said that this was common. Jake snorted that it would be difficult to beat this record. Sonia was surprised that it took Team Jake so little time. Roa told Sonia that when they were there yesterday, it took them an hour just to get to the bottom level. Sonia said that it meant if only the bosses didn't take so long and smiled at Roa. The guys figured out how to shorten the time. The protagonist understood her train of thought and said that they would win this race. Roa and Sonia went down into the dungeon. They started the fight with the lizard fighter. Recommended level is 150. Roa shouted at Sonia. He ordered to lie down on the ground. Sonia crouched down. MC used the lightning of the thunderer and killed the lizard. Sonia said that this was a good pace. Roa agreed and told Sonia to avoid the enemy as much as possible. He said that he thought that he and Sonia were getting better and better. Sonia agreed and said that they worked great together. She said that they didn't waste much time and that she was sure that it would be a crushing victory. Roa smiled and agreed with Sonia, but said that they shouldn't let their guard down. They still had to fight the dungeon boss. Sonia smiled and said that she knew it. She said that they would show everyone how cool they were. The protagonist said that this was encouraging. Behind them sat a lizard knight. The lizard burst into tears because his girl left him. Sonia noticed the monster and shouted at Roa to catch it. MC and Sonia go down the stairs. Roa and Sonia saw the lower level. The entrance to it was sealed with magic. The protagonist asked if Sonia was ready. He warned that the boss would be C rank. Sonia told him not to worry, they definitely wouldn't lose. Roa agreed and said that they should go. Kepli, recommended level 400, rank C, boss of the Lamberg dungeon. Sonia and Roa saw the dungeon boss, a monster they had never seen before. Kepli started to attack them. Sonia defended herself with a steel wall, and then used the homing skill. Roa told Sonia that this was a great defense. Even with such a difference in strength, she could do something against the monster. MC took out his sword and prepared to use magic. He said that the spell takes 2 seconds. The range of this is small, but it will be enough. Roa raised his sword, preparing to strike. MC swung his sword and attacked the boss with a purple flash. The dungeon boss was defeated. Roa killed him with 1 hit and his level increased from 200 to 270. The protagonist received the title, Conqueror of the Lamberg Dungeon, rank D, MP effect plus 300. Roa was happy with the new title and was surprised that his mana reserve increased. Sonia said that Roa was able to do it. This blow to the C-rank Kelpie. Roa screamed with joy. He said that the basic damage of the purple flash is 12,000, and with a favorable attribute it rises to 24,000. This is real destructive power. Roa said that they must not forget to collect the magic stone. Now they only have to go beyond the barrier and use the transfer stone. Sonia was a little confused and asked if they won. She called Roa and said that something was wrong. The protective barrier of the dungeon did not disappear. Sonia pointed her finger up and asked Roa to look at it. He looked up and saw another boss. The ghost of the pirate William Kidd, with a recommended level of 1000, rank B. It is an additional boss of the Lamberg dungeon. It was a terrifying sight. MC asked what it was. Sonia said that it was an additional boss. The recommended level of this one is 1000. The ghost of the pirate attacked the guys. Roa managed to dodge his attack. The skeleton continued to attack. Sonia decided to use the homing skill, but it did not work. Roa screamed that the ghost was coming for him. Roa took out his sword and prepared to fight the monster. The skeleton was ready to attack the protagonist. Meanwhile, upstairs, the guild representative said that 45 minutes had passed since the two entered the dungeon, and so far there was no sign of them returning. Jake chuckled and said, maybe they were stuck at the beginning? Dory snorted at him. She said that he was wrong. She said that the guys would win by a large margin. The guild representative asked Dory whose side she was on. Dory replied that she was on the cool side. Jake replied, well then it's about us, not them. The guild representative asked them not to quarrel. The guild girl asked Team Jake what they thought about doing something to kill their boredom while they waited. She said that she could tell a few scary stories about dungeons. The guys gathered around her. The girl began her story. The guild representative said that in addition to the dungeon bosses, there are also additional bosses. She said that when special conditions are met, it appears. The power of the additional bosses is extreme, and if it attacks, the characters are unlucky. They can prepare for death. Team Jake was shocked by these words. The guild representative calmed them down and told them not to worry. There were no reports of additional bosses appearing here at all. Jake breathed a sigh of relief. He asked why she scared them with this story. The girl answered that the conditions of appearance, as they say, are very difficult. They are unlikely to encounter such a thing. Meanwhile, a fierce battle was going on in the dungeon. Roa and Sonia were fighting the pirate ghost. The protagonist fought the skeleton with swords. He could hardly withstand the onslaught of the monster. The pirate ghost did not allow Roa to relax. MC said that this monster is rank B. If he gets one hit, his whole body will hurt. He was angry that the transfer stone they were given did not work either, so they will have to deal with it somehow. Roa reasoned, his level is 270, what can he do with such an exorbitant recommended monster level? Sonia shouted, Mr. Roa, so that he does not forget to keep his distance. She advised him to launch the lightning of the Thunderer. MC answered Sonia that he is trying to keep his distance. He summoned the Thunderer's lightning, but the pirate ghost dodged it. Sonia screamed, did he miss? Roa said, it can't be, lightning is very fast. MC didn't have time to understand anything, as the pirate ghost attacked him. Roa flew into the wall at high speed and fell to the ground. Sonia screamed. She was very scared for the protagonist. The skeleton wanted to attack MC again, but Sonia closed it with herself. She distracted the ghost onto herself. The monster changed its target. Sonia told the protagonist that she could buy him some time. She asked him to do something to help him recover. Roa looked bad. He asked Sonia what she meant. He opened his status window. He had 120 HP left. It was enough for the monster to deal one blow and that's it. MC said that he knew that one day he would have a hard time, but he didn't expect it to be so soon. He thought, maybe this is a test. If he can't pass even such a test, then he shouldn't master all the magic. Sonia reflected the ghost's attacks and tried to dodge sword strikes. He remembered Eric's words. He told Roa that many adventurers leave already at D rank. MC got to his feet and said that he climbed to this from the very bottom. He said that he would not give up so easily. He was just unlucky once. The protagonist began to reason. He became interested in why he missed. There could be two reasons why he did not hit the target. The distance was too great, and he went to attack straight in the forehead. He said that even if he attacks the pirate in the blind spot, the boss will immediately counterattack. If this happens, the MC will die even before the cast occurs, regardless of the speed of the monster. Roa took out his sword and said, in other words, he does not have time to cast, but he can parry attacks. He can only use the sword in close combat. The protagonist said that fortunately there is magic that is ideal for such cases. Strengthening the body MP consumption seconds X enhancement multiplier X10. The multiplier is in the range of 1 to 3 times. Effect, increases physical abilities. Attributes, none. Casting time, 0 sec. The protagonist decided to first restore all MP with a potion from the item box. Then, he decided to spend 200 levels to obtain the body strengthening skill. Roa Foil. Level 70, HP 120 out of 370, MP 1020 out of 1020, attack power 480, defense 65. MC acquired body reinforcement. The maximum gain factor is 3 times. Then his attack power became 1440, defense 195. The protagonist was satisfied with this result. His attack and defense power were satisfied. This magic consumes 10 MP for every second of gain. If the gain factor is 3, then the MP consumption also increases 3 times. MP 1020 divided by MP 30 equals 34 seconds. In other words, he only has 34 seconds to win. Roa said that everything will be fine. He reassured himself that he is not fighting alone. If he runs out of effect, he is sure that Sonia will help him with recovery. He shouted to Sonia to cover him. He is going to attack. Sonia was surprised that Mr. Roa switched to close combat. The protagonist forced a smile and walked up to the pirate ghost. He told him that it will be the second round. Level 70 against 1000. The protagonist went straight to the skeleton. He raised his sword and swung. The pirate was preparing to attack. They clashed in a fierce duel. The monster used all his strength. He tried to strike Roa. MC parried the attacks. He asked the pirate, attacking is not that easy, is it? It is not so easy to throw him back now, with one blow. The protagonist calculated the time. He approached the pirate and prepared to strike. Roa reflected the skeleton's attack and struck him back. MC was able to injure the pirate ghost. He was happy about it. The blow was weak, but it was there. He said that this was a fight to the death and asked himself, so why does he like it? The skeleton attacked Roa with renewed vigor. They clashed in a sword fight. The protagonist said that he would like to continue this fight, but his MP will soon run out. The protagonist said that he would like to continue this fight, but he will soon run out of MP. Now it is only 180 out of 1020. Roa did not have time to respond to his attack. The monster was approaching too fast. Sonia covered him from behind. She used the homing skill. She met the eyes of the terrible monster. She reflected the attack with her shield. She was surprised and asked, does homing work? Apparently it only works at close range. Sonia shouted to Roa that she probably wouldn't be able to hold off the attack for long. She told him to heal while he had the chance. The protagonist thanked Sonia. She covered him at the perfect time. Sonia was tired of parrying the pirate's attacks. Roa said that he should heal quickly and drank 3 recovery potions at once. His MPs were fully restored. He said that the attack pattern was becoming clearer and clearer. He began to understand the enemy's tactics. The protagonist prepared for a new fight and attracted the pirate's ghost's attention to himself. The pirate's first blow had a high probability of becoming a push before the next attack. So Roa ducked and returned from the push. A gap appeared. At that moment, the protagonist struck the enemy with a sword, cutting off the pirate's hand. The pirate's ghost lost the hand in which he held the sword. Sonia did not lose her nerve and rushed at the pirate. She grabbed him and held him in place. She shouted at Roa to cast the spell while she could hold the monster. The pirate turned around. Seeing Sonia, he pushed her away with all his might. Sonia fell to the side. The ghost headed towards the protagonist. He was preparing to attack with one hand. Roa had enough time while Sonia held the pirate. MC apologized that it happened. 2 seconds remained until the cast. The protagonist swung his sword and screamed with all his might. He called the lightning of the thunderer. With the sword and lightning, he cut the ghost of the pirate in half. Sonia was happy with the victory. MC asked the ghost, "What is it like to be defeated by D rank?" But the question remained unanswered. Because they won, they withstood this fight. From such tension, Sonia began to cry. She was very glad that Roa was okay. At some point, she did not even know what would happen next. The protagonist said that he didn't think they could defeat a B-rank monster. It was a really absurd skill, but it worked. Sonia's recklessness also saved his life. The system windows with a level-up notification kept popping up. Sonia approached him and, taking his hands, said that before this he was only level 70. She was sure that the bonus for defeating a strong enemy would increase his level several times. MC was curious how far this would go. Sonia said that this time, not only your magic, but also your swordsmanship was amazing. She asked where he managed to learn it. Roa replied that he mastered the basics at the beginning of his adventuring path. Sonia asked, "That was all?" She said that if Roa continued to work on it, he could become a swordmaster. MC did not agree with this. He said that if he chased everything at once, he would never fully master anything. He said that he was more interested in shooting magic than swinging a sword. That's why he wanted to continue improving his magic. Roa said that he was very tired. Sonia asked him if he wanted to lie down for a while. Was there still time? He said no. He said that the floor was too hard here and a place to sleep was very important. Sonia put Roa's head on her lap and said that he could lie on her lap, rest for at least 5 minutes. He asked Sonia if he was too heavy. She said no and smiled. Now the main character's status looked like this. Level 470, HP 2865 out of 2865, MP 700 out of 3700, attack power 1440, defense 720. Got the name Captain Ghost Pirate William Kidd, title obtained by defeating him, effect HP plus 200, MP plus 200, attack plus 200, defense plus 200. The guys used the transition stone. The guild representative said, "The magic timer stopped." She said, "Ladies and gentlemen, these two are back." Dory was glad to see them back, and Jake asked, "I wonder how long it took?" They did it in 1 hour and 29 minutes, 3 minutes faster than Jake's group. Jake screamed that it was impossible. He said that they know the structure of this dungeon better than them. Jake snorted. Did they really defeat the dungeon boss? He asked to see the magic stone as evidence. Now. MC said he didn't have to say it. He held out 2 stones and told them to evaluate them. Jake's eyes widened. He was surprised. He asked for 2 of them. The appraiser took both stones and said that one of the stones was much larger than the C-class magic stone. He took the stones to look at them closer. Imagine the appraiser's surprise when he picked up the larger stone. Jake asked, "What, are these fakes after all?" The appraiser answered in the negative. He said that the stones were definitely real. Both were freshly picked. The appraiser added that one of these stones was B-class. Team Jake was dejected. They were surprised and indignant. Jake asked what this meant. He said that there shouldn't be B-rank monsters in this dungeon. Jake turned to Team Sonia and Roa and asked what they did there. The protagonist replied that they had gotten an extra boss, the ghost of the pirate William Kidd, and they had defeated him. All the people and the guild representative were confused. They did not understand how they could get an extra boss. The guild representative grabbed Roa by the cloak and started shaking him. She asked if he was joking. After all, she had just told everyone that additional bosses only appear when a number of strict conditions are met. Sonia asked what conditions. The guild representative said that she needed to look at the conditions. She started listing the conditions. First, there must be 2 or fewer members in the party. Second, the time to reach the lowest level of the dungeon is less than 1 hour. Third, it is less than 30 seconds to defeat the dungeon boss. Fourth, it is less than 3 attacks on the dungeon boss, and so on. The guild representative said that the additional boss only appears for those who meet all of these conditions. She had heard of such things. Sonia, with a smile on her face, said that Mr. Roa did exactly that. MC told Sonia not to blame him alone for this. The guys from Team Jake said that it turns out that they defeated the dungeon boss and even the additional boss in just 1.5 hours. Dory screamed, that it was fantastic and rushed to Roa with hugs. But Sonia did not let her even touch the main character. The guy from the team Jake said that it was a complete defeat. He knew that Jake was upset, but he had to admit it. Jake started crying. He said that it must have been terrible, and he was glad that the guys were okay. He turned to Roa and said that he was so sorry, he underestimated them. He said that he was so ashamed that he laughed at them just because they were new. MC thought to himself that he was not like Carter at all. He was so stubborn. Roa told Jake not to worry. He had a lot of fun today. They shook hands. The crowd of spectators shouted at the guys. They asked how the guys defeated the extra boss. People promised to buy them drinks if they told them everything in detail. Someone asked the guys if they were accepting new members into the group. A crowd of people wanting to join their team gathered. Jake yelled at the crowd to get out of the way. These guys were drinking with them today. Sonia asked Roa if they were coming. He replied that he thought he was going home and getting some sleep. Then he decided that it was good to gather like this every now and then. He and Team Jake went to a bar. Sonia and Dory were arguing with each other. Sonia didn't want Dory to get close to the protagonist. After the bar, the guys went to the hotel. There was a knock on the protagonist's door. Sonia entered the room and asked Roa if he was asleep. MC didn't answer. He was fast asleep. She quietly approached him and said that he had fallen asleep again with the door unlocked. But they drank with pleasure. Sonia adjusted the blanket and stroked Roa's head. She said that he was fast asleep. He must be tired. She sat down on the floor next to his bed and said that she had been very worried today. She was afraid that Roa would die. She was so glad that he was okay. Sonia patted his head and said that she knew it looked strange. She asked to let her tell him something while he was sleeping. Sonia told Roa that she loved him. She looked at him sleeping, patted his head and said that she was so happy that she had met him. Later, Roa held the gold card in his hands and happily shouted to the girl that they did it. Just like Jake and the others said. They had indeed raised their adventurer rank to C, and his guild card was a cool gold. His career had finally taken off. Sonia laughed and told him that he was ruining the reputation of rank C with his habit of sleeping late. He noted that he had slept until noon today and she hadn't even woken him up. The girl admitted that she was staring at his sleeping face and she was tired. She asked him what they were going to do today. They had already conquered the dungeon in the city. The protagonist replied that they needed to see. He had a title, and he had done what he had to in this city. In order to enter the next dungeon, he needed to buy a land dragon. He asked Sonia what she thought about it. The girl thought about it, and he continued that he had once seen an adventurer riding a land dragon in foil. People said that it was a faster way to travel than a horse. He had saved up almost $1 million, so maybe now he could buy one. Sonia didn't want to upset the MC, but she had to tell him that buying such a dragon costs about 10 million miru. Roa was taken aback when he heard such a sum. He cursed and said that they should not stop there. The girl noted with satisfaction to herself that he had returned to his previous appearance. Suddenly, a voice told him not to give up so quickly. He had a profitable offer for him. Eric approached them, and the protagonist was very happy about his arrival. The guy told them that there were a lot of rumors about them. He heard that they defeated an additional boss. They were talking about it in his shop. MC asked him about the shop in surprise. Eric told him in response that he quit his job as an adventurer and started a tool shop. Today, he was at the guild to settle all the formalities, and he was very glad that he saw them. The guy added that he would like to thank them for all the help they gave him, and he would be very happy if they visited his shop. Roa and Sonia responded enthusiastically to his offer, and they all set off together. When they arrived, the protagonist noted that this place looked more like a stable than a shop. Eric replied that it was a stable, just like it looked. He doesn't want to brag, but his family had a very successful business. There is a demand from adventurers and travelers, so they keep a lot of horses and land dragons. He showed them one of the dragons and told them that he was giving it to them for free. The guys were very surprised. Is he confident in his decision? Eric reminded them that they saved his life, so they should not be shy. This dragon is one of his best, and he is sure that the protagonist will take care of it, so he is ready to give it to them. He continued that when he wanted to become an adventurer, this dragon was always by his side. But if his friend goes with them, he thinks his dream will come true. They were very grateful to their friend for such a gift. Moreover, the dragon turned out to be very friendly, and they got along with it right away. Eric told them that they can name it whatever they want, and MC suggested calling it Yao Yorozu Inferno Slayer of Justice. Sonia and the guy were silent in surprise, and the girl told Roa that it was not a very good name. He could call him something nicer, like caramel strawberry sauce with whipped chocolate. And Eric said that this dragon would suit just the name Yao, let them call him that. The protagonist happily agreed to the guy's proposal. Eric invited them to the store, saying that they would give them a good discount on the necessary tools because they needed to prepare for departure. The next day, Roa got up surprisingly early and was about to leave, which really scared the girl. She was indignant that he was already leaving alone, but he should not leave her here. They heard some noise and saw Team Jake. The team members were arguing heatedly about something. Apparently, they wanted to split up. Roa and Sonia approached them and asked them why there were so many people here. They were told that it was because they were now local celebrities. Jake added that they were not going to stand still either, and if they saw them again, then victory would be theirs. He wished them to stay healthy and not get sick until then. The protagonist smiled and answered him that he was quite good. Eric turned to his saviors and wished them to be good friends with Yao. The guys warmly thanked him for everything and saddled the dragon. After it moved off, Roa and Sonia were very surprised by its speed. They looked back and saw people seeing them off, waving goodbye to them. The girl asked MC, "Is it a little sad, isn't it?" He answered her that it was true. They met many friends here, but he was sure that in the next city, they would meet even more. The protagonist thought that even in foil, he was very glad that he met Sonia. The girl asked him ingratiatingly, "Did he hear anything last night?" He told her no, and she assured him that it was no big deal. She wanted to tell him something else, but then she saw the kobold fighter. He appears at the most inopportune moment. The protagonist opened the map and said that, judging by the map, another city would not be so far away. Their next stop is the volcanic city of Almond. At that moment, two bandits burst into the house near the forest where old Enrico lived. They shouted at him to get out of their way, that this was their refuge now. One of the bandits said contentedly that he did not expect to find such a house in the forest. The old man began to ask them to go away and leave him alone. If they took this house, he would have nowhere to go. The bandits answered him that they did not care about it. If he wanted to live, he should just get out of here. Suddenly, someone's shout stopped them. Roa and Sonia came to the old man's aid. They heard a noise on the way and turned towards this house. The protagonist shouted, "What are these bandits doing?" They angrily asked them who they were and what tourists were doing here. MC held out a bucket of crabs and told them that there were a lot of crabs in the river. They would fry them for breakfast later. The bandits were confused. Were they just showing them their crabs? Sonia held a plate of food and said that she had prepared a lot of curry for Mr. Roa for dinner tonight. The bandits looked at each other. What did curry have to do with it? They decided that this was a strange group and they needed to be beaten up well and robbed blind. The protagonist got completely angry. He told these idiots that it was much more fun to achieve everything with your own work. He erected a magic circle in the air and said that now these scoundrels would have their fun. The bandits were scared. They realized that in front of them was not just a fisherman, but a wizard. MC launched a thunderbolt at them and punished the bandits. So, on the way to Almond, they saved an old man who introduced himself as Enrico. He told them that he was once an adventurer too, and shared some information with them. Almond is a city with a thriving mining industry, the dungeons of which are full of fire monsters of rank C and above. The dungeons are the remains of old mines. Many of the traps that were set up to prevent the theft of minerals are still there. And at the lowest level, there is a giant wolf engulfed in fire. It is said to be a rank B volcano hound. The protagonist told Sonia that he thinks that water-based magic is indispensable. And magic or items that can cope with traps will also come in handy. She told him that after the fight with the extra boss, she acquired several new skills. He asked her which ones. She showed him her data. Level 540, HP 6100 out of 6100, MP 2500 out of 2500, attack power 210, defense 54, unique skill impregnable, skills, steel wall 10, homing 10, abnormal resistance 10, giant shield 1, protective spirit 1, poison shield 1. The protagonist was surprised that the girl could increase her mastery level to 10. She could acquire the following additional skill. This poison shield would be a good source of damage if pumped up. He also thought about magic, which could come in handy. This seemed like a good option to start with. Water Blade. MP consumption, 350. Base damage 10,000. Attribute water. Casting time 2 seconds. Cost 150 levels. Water Blade was studied, and now the protagonist's stats were as follows. Level 320, rank captain. HP 2,320 out of 2,320. MP 3,220 out of 3,220. Attack power 990. Defense 570. Continuing his journey, he told the girl that thanks to the information he received from Enrico, they would be well prepared before entering the dungeon. But why did this old man live so deep in the forest? Sonia asked him in surprise. Didn't he listen to him? He fell in love with a nymph he met in the forest once. He doesn't know when he will see her again, but he constantly waits for it. Such a romantic story. The protagonist said that conquering dungeons is definitely more fun than love. The girl was upset by these words. She told him that she thought he would say that. Suddenly, the dragon braked sharply, and they saw the city of Almond in front of them. They came to the hotel, leaving their dragon Yao in the stable. The protagonist thought that this city smelled something very unusual. Probably it was the smell of hot springs. This place is famous for them. When they were told the price of one room at the reception, they had to take one room. MC thought that now he understood why all hotels were so expensive. He was ashamed that he did not dare to take 2 rooms. He told the girl that this time they had no choice but to live in one room. Sonia, beaming with joy, told him that saving money is very important. MC wondered why she looked so happy. He suggested that she pack everything and go to the dungeon. They need to complete a few simple tasks. One of them is Hellboar Skin X5. The reward for this is 30,000 Muru. The protagonist couldn't wait to see what a C-rank dungeon was like. They went down into the dungeon, and he told the girl to run to the left. There they met a Hellboar, recommended level 330, C-rank. MC noted that it had a good position and real speed. He commanded forward and used Water Blade against the boar. After they destroyed the boar, Sonia was amazed that this new magic was very effective. The protagonist thought about it, and the girl was worried about his thoughtfulness. She asked him if something was wrong. He told her that everything was fine. He just thought it was strange that her level had not increased. It was natural. The recommended level to defeat them was about the same. She asked him, couldn't he always increase his level? He told her that he didn't feel anything. He had been fighting higher rank monsters all his life. The girl noted that there were stronger monsters on the lower levels, and she asked him to be careful with the traps. According to old man Enrico, they don't know what danger awaits them there. Immediately after this, she fell into a trap. A crack and a cloud of dust rose. The protagonist saw that Sonia had disappeared. He started calling her, asking her if she was okay. Suddenly everything cleared up and he heard her voice. She told him that everything was okay, there was just smoke. The protagonist was shocked when he saw her. She was sitting on the floor in her underwear. He exclaimed, "What does this mean?" The girl was scared and didn't understand what happened. MC told her to calm down and listen to him. He was still in the smoke and could only see vaguely, and while it was all just a blur, he didn't know what was going on, but she had to do something about it. The girl didn't understand what he was talking about, and what had just flown by. Suddenly she realized that she was sitting in her underwear, and she screamed. Why was her equipment ruined? He told her that he didn't know himself, but it was one of the traps where the smoke made it fly apart. She was embarrassed and thought that she should have put on nicer underwear. Sonia picked up her equipment and asked the protagonist not to look at her. She would put on her clothes now. If any monsters appeared now, and she was here like this. Before she could think about it, the red turtle, recommended level 440, rank C, appeared in front of them. The girl was confused, and the protagonist rushed to attack the turtle, using the 3x multiplier, physical effort, and water blade. After defeating the turtle, Roa told the girl not to worry. He would cover her no matter what. He added that she should get dressed while she still had the chance. Later, they examined their loot. It was a C-rank magic stone X23, 6,000 Miru each, and a thermal boa skin X5, 6,000 Miru each. Returning from the dungeon, they were happy that they fulfilled this request. But the girl was still confused. She thought that the Almond dungeon was a terrible place. Well, not that terrible. Just should forget about it. The protagonist apologized to the girl that he put off one thing until later to figure out what it was. He did not know that such items existed, but there is a detection ring. Its cost is 150 levels. And the effect is that it can detect traps in the dungeon. He should have done it earlier. He has enough levels to make such rings for himself and for Sonia. She asked him if he was sure about it. After all, it would lower his level to 77. MC assured her that he could raise it at any time. And it was better than losing all his equipment. He showed her 2 rings and told her that they would try them tomorrow. The girl admired the beauty of the rings and thanked Roa. After some time, Sonia was sitting in the bathtub and enjoying the pleasant sensations. She thought that it was very expensive to have an outdoor bathtub in the hotel. Sonia told the protagonist that she would take a bath tomorrow morning, but she could not sleep, so she came here anyway. A lot happened today. But MC was probably not too surprised by everything. She heard some sound and thought that there was someone else here, and seeing the silhouette of the person present, she noted that he also had such a beautiful body. Suddenly she saw Roa and exclaimed, "What is he doing here?" The protagonist asked her to calm down. He added that as a former noblewoman, she most likely does not know that most public baths are mixed. The girl was indignant at such a peculiarity. At that very time, Merril was standing near the house of the old man Enrico, and amazed by the old man's story, she asked again, "Did the adventurer passing by kill the bandits with one blow?" The old man confirmed that this was true, and he is alive today thanks to them. They were a boy wizard and a girl with a large shield, and they were much stronger than they looked. The girl said she understood everything. She came to take these bandits, but after hearing about the heroes, she would like to see them in person. If they are good enough, perhaps she will even think about recruiting them into her order. Meanwhile, in Almond, the guys were in the guild. The satisfied protagonist told Sonia that so much had happened yesterday. He suggested that she get back to work and go underground again today. The girl was thoughtful and the MC called out to her. She muttered to him that everything was fine and that everything that had happened yesterday was her fault. She looked at the food and asked him what it was. The protagonist explained that it was steamed volcano caterpillars, and he added that he thought the menu here was more modest than in other cities. They had a rare insect dish, and he ordered it. The MC asked the girl if she didn't like bugs. She asked again, did he mean insects? He confirmed her words and added that they were delicious here. These babies were so juicy and crunchy that every time you bite into one, you get a mouthful of juice, and the larger ones are soft and creamy with a deep flavor. They are also very well seasoned. The sweetness of the insects and the acidity of the sauce are so perfect that it looks like a luxurious delicacy. And they are also very nutritious and healthy. Sonia listened to him attentively and she began to think that it was very tasty. He offered her to try it, she agreed, but only for one piece. The protagonist offered the girl to take as much as she wanted. She tried the insect, but she felt sick. MC apologized to her for this and asked her how she felt. The girl admitted to him that she was not sure she was ready for this. Perhaps it was too early for her. The moment she put it in her mouth, she felt like caterpillar legs. She immediately grimaced and told him that she would feel sick again if she remembered it. The protagonist thought about creating such an item as a wooden bucket worth 1 level. He offered her this bucket, saying that she could pour it all in if she wanted. She was indignant because she didn't mean it that way. She just didn't want him to look at her. She asked him to move away, and he thought that it wasn't easy being in a party. He received the title gourmet with an effect of nothing special. After a while, they went to the Almond dungeon again. They were attacked by another demon, and they used the water blade skill again. Having done his job well, MC thanked the girl and asked if she was feeling better already. She thanked him in return too, because she felt better thanks to him. She also noticed that he had regained his level. He replied that he was now level 310 and he thought he could get new magic again. Sonia told him that perhaps it would be safer to have wide-range, water-based magic. There was still a chance to meet a lair and additional bosses here. MC agreed with the girl's words and offered her to buy it. They purchased Bubbling Water Ball. MP consumption 900, base damage 14,000, attribute water, casting time 4 seconds, cooldown 60 seconds, cost, in levels 300. Roa analyzed that the MP consumption is 900, but the casting time of the spell is short. The casting time is less than 7 seconds of Thunderbolt Lightning. MP will be restored when the level increases, but for now he will have to be content with this. And now he would like to try it out somewhere. At this moment, they heard a woman's cry for help. This voice was begging for help and screaming that someone was going to kill her. The guys were surprised to recognize the girl as Masha, and they also saw that all the monsters were coming towards them. MC said that he did not know why Masha was here, but that was good. He used his skill, Physical Enhancement, picked up Sonia in his arms, and left this place. Watching from above, the protagonist noticed that Masha was moving strangely. The girl suggested that maybe she had some skills for this. He hoped that if she was running away from monsters, he would hardly hit her. He created a ball of bubbling water and directed it at a bunch of demons that were chasing Masha. The girl was shocked that so many monsters fell in an instant. She wanted to know who saved her, because as far as she knew, there was no one who could use such amazing magic. She turned to go, but stumbled and fell. Roa asked her if everything was okay, and she enthusiastically shouted to him that she would recognize this voice out of 1,000. This voice belonged to Roa, and he felt his level increase to 265. There was a flash. Masha asked who it was. She was told to wait a minute. Now it will all pass. When Masha saw the kids, she happily exclaimed that they hadn't seen each other for a long time. She didn't think that she would be saved twice. She was doomed. The girl threw herself on the protagonist's neck in a burst of gratitude, addressing him as Mr. Roa. He was embarrassed and asked her to call him just Roa. Sonia pulled her up, saying that she didn't have to hug him twice. Masha threw herself on Sonia's neck in tears. She was touched and asked the girl to wipe her tears. She told her that tears spoiled her cute face. The girl thanked Sonia, calling her a bundle of kindness. The girl told her that it would be better if she addressed her simply as Sonia. The protagonist asked the girl why she ended up in the dungeon again. She was not an adventurer, but a merchant, right? She answered him that she had a small failure in business. She started working as a courier to earn some money. MC asked her what that meant. A courier? The girl explained that she carried materials that adventurers were hunting for. She had some magic, so it was a good decision for her. She added that she had a unique skill called throwaway luck, and today she used it to her advantage, but she got separated from the group, and now she was here. The protagonist wondered how she could get separated if she was so fast. She laughed and told him that perhaps it was because she was daydreaming at the time. They heard someone call out to Masha, and turning around, they saw a group of people. It was her team, and the main one asked her where she was. Because of her sudden disappearance, they were unable to collect the materials. The girl began to apologize to her team, and the main one told her that she was lucky that it was not a rare material. But he couldn't pay her today's fee. She objected that it was just because they were lost, so it was quite natural. The chief told her not to worry because cooperation with them would continue. But the reward depended on how hard she worked. The protagonist watched their conversation and thought that something was bothering him. If Masha really ran, he didn't blame her. She was fast. She could have caught up with them. He was sure that the adventurers couldn't ignore it. He asked Sonia to treat the girl, and he had some things to do. He continued that he would be back soon, and they could get some caterpillar sauté. Seeing how the girl grimaced, he laughed and left. He followed Masha's team and heard them talking among themselves. The leader laughed and told his friends that it was all very funny. Masha didn't even notice anything and started apologizing. The second one agreed with him, saying, of course, they left her there on purpose. The elder one continued that since she felt guilty, next time she wouldn't charge so much. The second one echoed him, saying, indeed, they were using her for cheap. The MC heard all this and thought that he had expected it. He stood in front of them, and the leader of the team asked him, who was he? The second one recognized him, and told his leader that he was the guy who was with the courier earlier. The protagonist expressed his regret to them because he had magically recorded their conversation. If they didn't want everything to become known, they would have to pay the courier. The leader grinned and asked him, saying, what kind of hero was this? Does he even know what happens to those who get carried away with this? One of them grabbed the protagonist from behind, and the main one smirked in his face and said that it was 3 against 1 and he had no chance. He shouted at the one holding MC to take the recording from him. They couldn't let all this get out. Then Roa used physical enhancement and broke free from the one holding him. They shouted that he was running away and they had to catch up with him at all costs. But they lost track of him, and while they were running around the street looking for him, the protagonist appeared in front of them himself. They were surprised. MC told them that he didn't think it was possible to play 3 against 1. They had to split the bunch and make it so that they could go one-on-one. They laughed in response, saying, what an idiot, this is a dead end, and in a narrow alley you can't use any magic. The main one told him that he didn't even notice it, which means he's not very capable. The protagonist answered him that he had not noticed that it was harder to swing a sword in a narrow alley, and he dealt the enemy a victorious blow of justice and a powerful fire blow. The enemy flew to the side. Not understanding how this could have happened, MC expressed his hope that they understood everything, and that they should not forget to apologize to Masha. The opponents agreed with him, if only he would not beat them anymore. He turned to leave and saw a girl standing in front of him. She thought, looking at MC, that these words and movements are simply amazing. He asked who she was. She approached the protagonist and told him that she belonged to the royal city of Norheim in the kingdom of Durham and introduced herself as the knight Merril. She invited him to her order and added that she gives her word that he will not regret. He remembered that before this, a strange girl tried to recruit him. Coming to the order is a very sudden invitation. He decided to confuse her and shouted at her that he does not buy expensive paintings, he is not interested in this at all, and he will not allow any rip-off during his shift. At first, she believed him, but then she guessed that he was trying to scare her. She answered him that there is no reason to worry, she is not a dubious recruiter. Let him come to the order and fight with her. He answered her that his late grandmother said that the people blocking the way in the alley are shady recruiters. Merril apologized to him. She did not want to embarrass him. She told him that he met an old man named Enrico in the forest. He fits the description of the adventurers the old man told her about. The protagonist was surprised that she knew Mr. Enrico, and she exclaimed in response that she knew it. His sense of justice, which will not allow rude people to go unpunished, and the excellent physical skills that he just demonstrated, make her ask him to join the order. He refused her request, saying that he did not know, she did not have enough people or something, but now he was only interested in mastering magic. She asked him in surprise, like, magic? Then why does he need a sword? If he is a wizard, why does not he carry a magic wand? He grinned back at her and said that having a wand because he was a wizard was as old as the hills. A sword was just another tool for practicing magic. She was surprised by what he said. Using a sword just as a tool was a waste of time. If he had trained in the order, he could have become the first knight. She saw that he was about to leave. The girl grabbed him by the armor and offered to spar with him, of course, for a fee. If he beat her, she would do whatever he wanted. Suddenly, he heard Masha call out to him. She told him that this scary adventuring party had just come to apologize to her. They told her that they would pay her properly, and they had strange, twisted faces, as if something had happened to them. He smiled at her and said that he was pleased to hear that. Masha guessed that this matter could not have been done without his help, and thanked him. Sonia, who approached the protagonist, noted that he seemed to have given them a good thrashing. She knows that he's one of those people who cannot turn a blind eye to something like that. He answered her that it was impossible to hide anything from her, and she retorted that she knew everything about him. And only now did they notice Merril, who was standing to the side and watching them. Sonia asked him who it was. He answered her that he did not know. She had clung to him on the way. But the girl herself approached them to get acquainted with them and introduced herself to them as Merril, a knight in shining armor. She apologized to everyone, but told them that she was taking MC. The girls were alarmed. What was she talking about? But the protagonist answered them to calm down. The thing is that Merril likes him because they saved the life of old man Enrico. That's why she wants him to join her order. The girls immediately calmed down, and he continued that she was too persistent, so they decided to settle the matter with a training fight. Merril confirmed what MC said and added that if she wins, he will join the order, and if she loses, she will fulfill any of his wishes. She will have to do anything for him. Sonia excitedly jumped up to the protagonist and asked him what this means. What can she do for him? For example, when they lack funds, she will give them some, or will she give information that only the knights know? The protagonist asked the girl in surprise what was wrong with her. Merril told them both that if this is what they want to talk to her about, she agrees. Sonia frowned and told the knight that she will not let her win. Merril told her that she will not lose either. The protagonist asked Sonia why she was so worried, since he would be the only one to fight the knight. Masha answered that the girls' fight had already begun. They came to the training area of the guild in Almond. Sonia said that she had heard that the guild in Almond had a magnificent training ground. Masha answered that since there were many masters here, they were building more and more of these things. The squad standing next to them was shouting that Roa was the coolest. Give him a chance, and he would show all his magic here. Masha thought that they had not changed at all. Merril asked MC if he was ready. She showed him a coin and said that the match would begin as soon as the coin fell. As long as he did not use a blade, he could fight in any way, even with magic. He would win if he hit her once with his wooden sword. She would win if she hit him 3 times. He was indignant. Why 3 times? He's not some kind of cripple. Merril tossed a coin, saying that she was a good knight after all and should be kinder to ordinary people. A duel ensued between them. MC noted that she was very fast, and he could see the line from her sword. If he could parry it with his sword, he would win. But then he saw that she had taken a stance with a support, and he thought, is this some kind of feint? She pounced on him and hit him once. She thought that she knew it. Adventurers were not used to crossing swords like that. She told him out loud that he would lose if he did not give it his all. He answered that she seemed to be right. It might not be a very good idea. Sonia was amazed that the girl had already touched MC with 1 blow. Masha suggested that this battle was more difficult than he thought. This girl, Merril, said that she was a knight in shining armor, and this title is the 2nd rank of knighthood. Sonia asked her if she meant that Merril was strong enough to stand up for herself. The girl replied that she was not expected to be a knight. She did not think that Roa had ever pointed his sword at anyone, and she was a little worried about it. The protagonist used his physical effort skill, and the knight thought that he was in his element, but she would see how he handled it. He skillfully repelled all her attacks, and she admitted that he was good, however, as she expected, and he quickly learned her techniques and adopted them. She also noted that he had an amazing growth rate, and she realized that he was too good to leave her. Masha exclaimed that she was starting to enjoy this duel. Suddenly, they stopped and MC asked the girl, where did the knight get such a face? The girl was embarrassed and told him to forget about it. He said it didn't matter, he would recover in a moment. She noticed something in his hand and asked him where he got it from. Was it part of his magic? MC explained that he was about to run out of MP. Merril told him that it was funny, but there would be no next time. The protagonist used the skill Purple Flash, and the 2 of them dueled again. He took a magical step and the girl realized with surprise that in an instant he was behind her. But skillfully dodging, she was still able to land a 2nd blow. He cried out that it actually hurt, and she apologized to him sweetly. She told him that it was hard to be gentle with a guy when he was in the moment. But he wasn't the type to whine about that, right? She encouraged him to continue the battle, and they resumed their duel. He thought that even if he used magic, she would close the distance in a split second. There was no time for spells. She swung her weapon and shouted at him that she intended to make the final blow. He told her not to worry, he would finish her off quickly. He was analyzing at this time that at this rate, he would lose. Even if he tried to get around her from such a distance, his body would not be able to withstand it. No way, he wanted more adventures. His friends were watching with excitement how the duel would end. They were very worried about MC because they saw how good the girl was in battle. He thought that he wanted to master magic because magic was all he had. And then the magic creation effect worked. The protagonist deftly bypassed all of Merril's attacks, dodged, and struck her. His friends exploded in an enthusiastic cry, and the squad of offenders enthusiastically exclaimed that it was super amazing. This second-rate knight lost. Merril was shocked. She asked MC what he just did. How did he dodge from such a long distance? A normal person couldn't do that. The protagonist himself was shocked by what happened. He told the girl that he himself did not understand what kind of power it was. He looked at his sword and thought that, in fact, it was an ordinary wooden sword, but before that, it was definitely glowing. Although he did not use any magic, and it did not matter anymore. He told the girl that it seemed that he won against a knight in shining armor. She irritably answered him that it was impossible for her to lose, and she began to cry. He was confused when he saw that she was crying. She cried and thought that there were so few knights, and she lost, and he would not come to the order. Newbies cannot stand it and immediately give up this business. He asked her, did she have some kind of problem, right? She did not listen to him and kept thinking that a promise is a promise, and she will do everything he asks. She did not notice that she said it out loud, and he heard her. He laughed and told her that he did not need anything right now. He suggested that she leave it all for later, until he came up with something. She asked him if he was sure about his decision. He could take her paid leave and rest a bit. Then Sonia pounced on him, expressing her boundless joy at his victory. She asked him what that was. She didn't know where that move of his came from, but it was really cool. He really was the best. He thanked her reservedly, but told her that she was too close to him. She became embarrassed, and Masha came up to him. She told the protagonist that he was really great. His moves made time seem to stop, and the sword seemed to be imbued with magic. She asked him how he did it. He told her honestly that he didn't know. If he were asked to do the same thing right now, he would say that it would be difficult. But if he could master this power, he would have much more fun conquering dungeons. The girls asked, he still enjoys his position, doesn't he? He asked back, didn't she think about how strong she could become? Merril smiled and told him that she understood why he didn't want to become a knight. He had a good group of friends, and besides, he seemed to be having fun. And she apologized to him for everything she had asked of him. She admitted to him that she was very ashamed, and that she was letting him go. She lived in the Durham Knights Barracks in Norheim, the royal capital, and when she was not there, she was usually guarding the King's Landing or fighting bandits. If he needed anything, he should just ask her. He told her that it had been an interesting experience, and he thanked her. After some time, they found themselves in the Almond dungeon on level 1. The protagonist told his friends that as a result, he did not have to change his job. Today, as usual, they are going through the dungeon. Then he saw Masha and asked her why she was here. She answered him that it was because Mrs. Sonia hired her as a courier. When he asked why she spoke like that, Sonia laughed and explained that she wanted to change her manner of speech. Masha added that the trio with facial deformation called her a provincial for the way she spoke. Later, of course, they apologized to her, but it hurt her feelings. The protagonist answered the girl that she should not worry at all. Sonia thoughtfully drawled that all girls worry even about the most insignificant things. She wanted to be told that she was cute, right? The girl indignantly answered her that she just did not want to be made fun of while doing business. And more quietly, she turned to her friends so that today they would hunt for materials from the heart. She will carry what does not fit in the item box. Using the reward as a starting fund, she will return to trading. The protagonist told her that if that is what she wants, he will be only too happy to help her, noting that she has a very strong fighting spirit. He took a knife and wanted to remove some of the boar, but Masha stopped him. She told him that these parts are not of particular value, so he does not even need to remove them. He countered that he has already sold the skins of heat boars for 6,000 muru. She told him that this is because heat boars are more likely to appear in places with high temperatures, so the rate for them in Almond is low. However, she would recommend him the tusks. Perhaps it is because of their surprisingly large size, but few adventurers bring them with them. But if they go in his item box, it will not matter. He agreed with the girl's words, because it was true that they could leave the light things to her. And on top of that, this specimen was in good health, so they would give a good markup for that too. MC appreciated Masha's advice. It turns out that you can learn a lot from traders, and breaking fangs and claws is easier than skinning. Masha told him that his knife should be cleaner, and he apologized to her for spilling blood on her. Another heat boar looked out after them, afraid that tomorrow would be his turn. 3 days later, the friends were happy with their good prey. Sonia brought a bag of money and told MC that they sold the material that Masha told them to collect for a good price. She was happy that she could help her friends, and besides, she also received a large reward, so it was a win-win. She said that with this money, she could buy a cart for her business. The protagonist asked her, "Does that mean the courier service is closing?" Sonia answered him in the affirmative, and added that she was also thinking of going to the royal capital of Norheim. There she could make a fortune and repay all their kindness 100-fold. MC smiled and told her that he hoped that by then she would have found her tone. She told them in response that if they ever came to the capital, she invited them to visit her. They wished each other luck and parted. Sonia told the protagonist about Masha, that she was as active as always. MC in response expressed hope that they would meet her again soon. He thanked the girl. Hiring a courier was a good idea, and thanks to her, Masha is now on the road again, and he learned a lot about materials. Sonia said that if she were here now, they would not have so much time alone. The protagonist agreed with her and added that they were better together. It was easier to coordinate battles. When MC was already asleep, Sonia couldn't sleep. She thought about how she tried to follow Merril's example and be more persistent. She tried to be brave, but Roa was so stupid. The next morning, the protagonist was woken up by a strong fit of rage. They went to the Almond dungeon again on level 5. There they were met by a fiery buffalo, recommended level 550, rank C. The guys used their new skill, Bubbling Water Ball, to fight it. And although the battle was difficult, they defeated the buffalo. Sonia praised the protagonist, saying that he did it, and this was the perfect moment. He replied that it was all thanks to her. She had now reached her level goal. Indeed, the girl's level was now 560, and MC's was 501. He thought about continuing to use magic with this attribute, which cost 500 levels, and was called Rain Cloud. MP consumption 1000, base damage 30,000, water attribute, casting time 2 seconds, cooldown 150 seconds. He continued that the MP consumption and cooldown were quite large, but the advantage in the amount of damage was even greater. He had enough levels, so he would get it right away. But the girls stopped him, because he could do it after he left the dungeon. If he spent 500 levels, he would return to level 1. It would be very dangerous to try to raise it again here. The protagonist thought about her words, because if there was a level that he could spend, he wanted to spend it right away. But Sonia was right. He needed to think about the future. They returned to the guild, and the protagonist said that they had earned 15 magic stones from the 90,000 Miru rank. Well, they had made some good money today. But considering the high cost of housing, he would have been happy if they had earned a little more. The girl suggested that they go up to level 6 tomorrow. Maybe they could find materials that could be sold for more than they were getting now. Their conversation was overheard by Surai, an A-rank mage, who told them that it would not be safe for them. If they wanted to go to level 6, they should be A-rank like him. The protagonist advised him to brag somewhere else. But the guy exclaimed that they had misunderstood him. He just wanted to ask if they would like to have dinner with him. He could give them any information. The dishes were brought, and the protagonist saw a beef steak. Sonia was surprised by the abundance of food, and asked Surai if he was sure that all this was on the house. He told her that this was his apology for being rude to them earlier. They have nothing to be embarrassed about. Let them eat. Roa savored the steak. Wondering what this type of cooking was called, Surai told him that it was medium rare. He saw tears of pleasure on MC's face and was confused by this. He asked the girl what the protagonist usually eats. She laughed and told him that Roa eats caterpillars. Surai completely forgot to introduce himself to them. He told the guys his name and who he was. He asked the girl if they had ever met her before. The girl answered him negatively. Surai was embarrassed. It seemed to him that she looked familiar. He continued his conversation with them and asked them if, judging by their appearance, they had recently arrived in Almond, right? So they probably don't know that the monster's strength in this dungeon increases from level 6. The recommended level for victory is 900. Almost all monsters are B rank. The guys thought about it, and Sonia asked MC if the additional boss they had fought before had a recommended level of 1000, right? The protagonist answered her affirmatively and added that if the monsters don't go in groups, then they have a good chance of winning. Surai was surprised by their words. Had they defeated an additional boss? So what rank are they then? They replied that they were at rank C, and then noticed that he looked like he was holding back a lot of things he wanted to say. He added that it would be even more dangerous for them to go then, as there weren't many adventurers in town who could conquer level 6 right now. So the place was crawling with monsters that no one had ever defeated. He looked at MC and noticed that he looked like he really wanted to go check it out. The protagonist asked him in return, "He's a mage, isn't he?" And when he didn't answer, he told him that he was a mage too. Surai exclaimed, "Where's his staff then?" Roa replied that he had always been a swordsman and had only started using magic a month ago. The A-rank mage was surprised. It was quite a feat to clear a C-rank dungeon in a month, but he could shorten the casting time if he used a staff. The casting was needed, first of all, to deploy the magic circuits. The staff transmits magic, and this reduces the time for the spell. The girl asked him if he uses it. Surai answered her negatively. He always does, cast destruction. The protagonist asked him what it meant. The magician explained to him that he had to tinker a little with the magic circuits themselves. Not everyone can do it, and he can do it because he is a genius. Sonia retorted that he is very self-confident if he considers himself worthy of such a title. Roa kept thinking about caste destruction. He remembered that when he fought with Merril, he did nothing, but something magical worked. Maybe something similar can be done with the help of magic creation? Although, most likely, it is something a little different, something subconscious. Surai saw his thoughtful expression and asked him what happened. The protagonist answered him that everything is fine. In any case, it was very nice to meet him because they are both magicians. The guy expressed his thought that they could be worthy opponents. After some time, the guys went outside. The protagonist looked around and said that there was a peaceful environment and the square seemed to be out of danger, so they could get new magic for 500 levels here. Sonia agreed with him that it was safe here, even when he was at level 1. Roa learned the skill Rain Cloud and said that the base level of this skill is 30,000. If you hit a weak point, you can deal 60,000 damage in one hit. So, maybe you can hit a B-rank monster. He began to create this skill, and at that moment, the protagonist was bitten by a cat. He fell to the ground, groaning in pain. He felt sick. Sonia screamed at him not to die from this little cat. After some time, they were sitting in their room and the protagonist complained to the girl that he already thought that his end had come. He didn't expect that he would almost die from this little cat. The girl told him that first of all he should level up again. She suggested that he go to the 6th floor the day after tomorrow. MC told her that according to Surai, level 6 is dangerous. He wants to level up to at least 500 again before they go there. He looked at the scoreboard and jumped in surprise. The frightened Sonia asked him what happened. He showed her what was on the scoreboard, and the girl was also speechless from what she saw. Their total spending level exceeded 3,000. The level reset bonus was received. The effect of double experience gained from killing monsters is doubled. This effect also applies to party members. They went to the dungeon again on level 1 and met a fiery boar. Using the skill Water Blade, the guys quickly dealt with this monster. The protagonist exhaled, they defeated Z-Boar. Normally this would be enough to level them up by 150 or so. From now on he can do it faster. MC was happy that he got to level 250 in just one go. Sonia confirmed that it was truly amazing. It seemed like he would become the most powerful person in the world at this rate. The protagonist agreed with her that it was no longer just a dream for him to become the strongest person in the world by mastering magic. He immediately felt embarrassed that he got a little carried away, but the girl told him that it would be a great honor for her to help him become the most powerful person in the world. Roa was very grateful to her, because she always helped him in everything. Their next task was a giant squid, recommended level 155, rank D. The protagonist exclaimed that he was really tired of it and rushed to attack, defeating this monster as well. MC noted that they were gaining levels very quickly. Now his level was 610, HP 3,520 out of 3,520, MP 4,730 out of 4,730, attack 1,380, defense 920. They went down the stairs and he shared with the girl that from level 1 to 610 in just one day, at this rate he should be able to defeat the dungeon bosses with ease. The girl expressed her concern that she was afraid of flocks. If the monsters were to gather up to rank B, it could take a long time. He told her that he understood this, but they could always escape to the 5th floor. And so they went up to the 6th floor of the Almond dungeon. He suggested that she first inspect the stairs. At this time, a red orc appeared in front of them, recommended level 930, rank C. The adventurers began the battle, taking their positions. Sonia attacked the monster, saying that she would not let him stand in Roa's way. The protagonist noted that the girl's level is 640. She calmly perceives the difference in levels with the enemy. And now was the time for him to use magic. He created a water blade, and thanked the girl for stalling for time. He entered into a fight with the demon, voicing his advice to Orc. He should learn from Sonia. If he does not defend himself, he will definitely die. He dealt the enemy a decisive blow, and the battle was over in their favor. The girl realized with surprise that she had raised her level by 90 at once. Now her level was 750. The protagonist grinned and asked her, "Was it exciting, wasn't it?" There was an instant increase. His level was now 730. He suggested that she just take the magic stone and leave. Otherwise the monsters might hear the noise and gather here. He cannot fight during the 150-second cooldown, although he might be able to defeat 1 or 2 more monsters. At that moment, Sonia called out to him and told him that a whole crowd of monsters was running towards them. The protagonist saw it and screamed, "What the hell?" He wasn't ready. He suggested to the girl that since they were near the stairs, they should run away from the monsters upstairs. He thought that they wouldn't follow them to the upper floors. They ran, but the girl saw that a pack of monsters was approaching. She asked the MC what they should do. If they didn't do anything, they would be surrounded by monsters on level 5. The protagonist told her that even if they got out of this, he didn't know if they would be able to make up for the casting time. Suddenly, they heard a bang and Sonia screamed. What was that? She immediately guessed that they had fallen into a trap for removing equipment. The girl immediately thought that MC would be stripped naked too, but he exclaimed that he had a detection ring and managed to see the trap just in time to avoid it. He asked the girl why she was so depressed. Secretly, she wanted MC to fall into this trap so that she could see him. They continued running up the stairs, and suddenly they saw Surai coming down towards them. As he passed by, he noticed that they were as noisy as always. He went down, used burning magic, and all the monsters seemed to evaporate into thin air. The guys stood there shocked, and for good reason. In the blink of an eye, so many monsters disappeared in an instant. Surai told them that he had warned them that level 6 was very dangerous. They thanked the mage for saving them. The protagonist was shocked because it was fire magic. Surai has an A rank, he killed everyone in one hit, despite the unfavorable attribute. The mage told him that it didn't matter what rank the opponent was, he was just a genius and he could just go for it. MC remarked that he was confident as always, but he was certainly strong enough to match that confidence. He hadn't even cast a spell. Is this what he called casting destruction? Sonia said that it was good to be able to use magic in the blink of an eye at times like this. Surai told her that it took talent, but they had come this far with C rank. He was sure that Roa definitely had talent too. If he worked hard, he would be able to use it someday. He noted that there were still a few monsters left, and he would show them one more magic, just for fun. He rose into the air and MC realized that he had used wind magic and gravity magic. Surai looked around the battlefield, noting that there were indeed only a few monsters, then that would be enough. He used meteor shower, and very soon, there was no trace left of the bunch of monsters. Sonia screamed about how amazing it was. The protagonist turned to the mage, saying that the firepower of this magic is much greater than the fire magic he uses. Does that mean it is a rank power? Surai confirmed his assumption, and MC exclaimed that someday he would be able to use such magic. The magician expressed his confidence that he would succeed. He would look forward to becoming as strong as he was. He said goodbye to the guys and left. The magician walked and thought about the guys, like, these two are very funny, their eyes light up when he shows them a little magic. Thanks to them, even the second of work seems a little more fun. He did not immediately hear someone calling him. Raising his head, he saw 3 bandits who blocked his way. One of them said to him, like, he's very sorry to say this, but if the guy does not want to suffer, then let him give them the money that he has in his hand. The magician muttered that he met more idiots. The bandits were outraged by what he said and began to threaten him with reprisals. Surai did not tolerate all this and scattered the bandits in 2 counts. They got their fill from him, and as he left, he told them that he knew that it was more fun to deal with people than with monsters. When he puts on sheep's clothing, he can catch a lot of idiots like them.